including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, another chilly start to the day. I guess it's not all that bad, though. Good morning. Manaski, good morning. Christine, good morning. And here we go. Hi, Christine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Davey. Man, Davey, you're on fire. I walk in, I got a Diet Pepsi here. This is like red carpet treatment, man. Jeff, I know you're going to mess with me on this, but... and I don't know that you covered this in the sports. You do realize that the Mets could be in first place after today. The Braves lost yesterday.
Okay.
The Mets are out by one game.
Well, a game and a half.
Is it? Well, by a game and a half, but they win two. Today they play a doubleheader, and if the Braves were to lose, we're tied atop the National League East. I realize... but who would have thought the Braves would lose? But they have a problem with the Marlins, just like the Mets do. All season long, they've had a problem with Miami.
So the Marlins can't beat anybody unless you're the division leader, apparently.
I have a feeling that's it. I mean, the Mets have struggled with the Marlins. I mean, obviously the chances of this, but there is a chance, which I didn't think there was any opportunity at all. Obviously, the Mets have to win. They would really have to take the next three games. But if the Mets were to take the next three games and the Braves lose one of the next two, we are in a dead heat atop the National League East. What happens then?
There's no game 163 this year. That's one of the changes with the expansion of the wild card. So there is a head-to-head tiebreaker. Off the top of my head, I think we beat them more than. Yeah, I think we beat them more than we've lost to them.
Well, I mean, I realize it's a crazy long shot, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay, we have a ton to squeeze into this tiny little 3 hours that we have here this morning. So let's get rolling here. We're starting with cooler weather. There's really a chance of a frost. We're going to kind of get out of that and have some warmer weather. We'll go up to near 70 degrees, but after this weekend, we're looking at highs in the 50s. So there will be a chance of frost over the course of the next week and a half or so.
I actually expected it this morning. I thought we were going to have some.
Yeah, it's a little warmer. I had I know we're looking at 43 here. I had like 47 at my house this morning. Yeah. It felt rather mild.
Walked out, I thought the same thing. I'm like, wow, this feels pretty good.
Is much warmer than I expected. Okay.
It's funny, the weather adjustment. Last week would have been, oh, my God, it's cold. Today, it feels pretty good.
How relative. It's all so relative, right?
Yes.
And you have that. I mean, we're in the mode now where just a little bit of a chill makes you feel terrible. Whereas in the springtime, it gets to 35 degrees, and we're like, you cannot. I'm wearing shorts. I was sitting out on my snow-filled lawn chair, and it was pretty warm when the sun finally did shine on me.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Dr. Kent Hall, and I forget what they're calling this. There's a pandemic, but now they're talking about, is it possible? And no one wants to hear any of this. When Christine read in the news the other day that they're recommending masks in, is it Onondaga County?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Onondaga and Oswego.
People there have to be just rolling their eyes like, we're done with this. We have had enough of this. Even the conversation I had with my parents the other day. So I got to tell you, when I was growing up, we had these kids that lived next door. They were the dirtiest kids in the world. They never washed their faces. They were out in the cold. They never wore a hat. Those kids never got sick. Right? Yeah. The dirt, the grime, the germs, the cold, the wind. They all grew up to be mailmen. They never, ever got sick. It's unbelievable. But you know those people, right? We know those people.
Yeah, sure. Oh, that's
I don't know if it's true, but it does seem that way, right?
It seems that way.
Christine, you keep your kids in a bubble. Well, we can't do it anymore.
My kids are not in a bubble.
And actually, your kids are not in a bubble.
And I wish they were,
nor,
but they're not.
Nor are mine in a bubble. But we did our best to do that when they were toddlers, right?
Right.
I don't know what that bug is, Jeff, but yeah, it's
Be
heading
careful,
your way.
Peter's gonna.
That's a monstrous.
No, these are the ones. I mean, this goes back years. The ones that were on the air conditioning units.
What do we call them? Like water bugs or cockroaches? They're not that. It's definitely not that. It just looks like it.
I will say, getting back to the bubble thing, when I was pregnant, I smelled every flower. I walked wherever I could because I was hoping that my children would not be born with any allergies.
Right. And honey, they say. And I don't even know if that's true at all.
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to have honey the first.
Right, but they say like if you're, and I think it went down that way, probably into the console. Yeah. Oh boy. I'll be checking my clothes when I leave. Checking my bags. Just making sure I don't bring any of this home with me. We have Comets tickets to give away today. Utica Comets are less than 2 weeks away from opening. I mentioned Dr. Hall. They're talking about, is it possible that we are in the midst of a twin, or on the edge of a twin-demic? Maybe somebody can look. Oh, here it is, Jeff, making his way across the board.
Is it called?
Twin-demic, yeah. What they say is bugs will start coming out of the console. A twin-demic. I guess that would be when you're going through two pandemics at the same time.
What's this one?
I don't know. There are two new Omicron or two new variants that are out there that they say we should be worried about. Now I'm working.
Wait, the actual doctors say we should be worried about, or some media try to get you to click on this story?
Well,
tells you should worry about.
There is a lot of that, isn't there? And I feel like sometimes when you have a reporter that's sitting there and doesn't know, gee, what are we going to do? My numbers are down this month. What am I going to do? Let me write something that everybody will click on. I do think that exists. But we'll talk to Dr. Hall about what a twin-demic is. And if he has any belief that we could be in the midst of something like that. I mentioned Comets tickets we'll give away this morning. A vax mandate penalty for some soldiers with a religious mandate in the armed forces. We'll talk with Corrine Clark on that one. Later on this morning, I've been talking for the last couple of weeks about this guy, and his name is Greg Lubau, and he is a criminal defense attorney who says all this talk about bail reform is all political. It's not real. The numbers, when you look at the numbers, when you crunch the numbers down, it's really not much different than it was before bail reform. Now, from our eyes only, just people who report the news every day, don't you agree, and I'm pretty sure you do, both of you, that there is an uptick. There is an uptick in craziness. There's an uptick in people going out and robbing a store and then getting an appearance ticket and coming back and robbing it the next day. There seems to be a change since bail reform.
So I feel like this defense attorney would say something like, you say robbing a store. I say throwing some few items in his pocket. That I feel like he's going to argue there's a difference between robbing the store
and raping or murdering or
shoplifting. That's just a simple shoplifting. That's not a robbery.
Yeah, I guess you could make that. I mean, what's going on in California is more of a robbery, right? Where they all go in a group at the same time and they ransack the place. How does security handle that when you have 12 people doing it, right? Versus one trying to come in. How do you tackle 12 people? You only have one security guard, or maybe two. I don't know the answer.
I wonder. I guess we'll see what he has to say. Is he local?
Yeah, well, he's New York State.
Okay.
So I believe Hudson Valley. Anyway, we'll speak with him later on this morning. That'll be interesting, and let's see where we go with what he has to say, and see if he actually can make people feel like, this is exactly what's going on. It's the numbers. It's like Shark Week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shark attacks. All of a sudden, we're claiming there's a huge increase in shark attacks. Mm-hmm. When in reality, there were fewer shark attacks than last year. That's kind of the concept he's going with.
I actually think, just from reporting, that there's an uptick in exactly what you said before. Maybe not the number of outright violent crimes, but I think there's an uptick for sure in the amount of craziness. Like, I think people are just losing it more. You see more people, going at others with knives. You see more people shooting. You see more domestics.
I think you're right. And, we're blaming everything on COVID, right? We're blaming everything on COVID. By the way, Rich says the Mets lose. Braves won the season series 10-9.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, yeah. That's so the only way the Mets would have a chance is if the Mets won 2 and the Braves lost 2. And that's highly unlikely. But again, Richard, listen, when there's a chance, there's a chance. Right now in Madison County and even beyond, there are 3 political parties working together. What are these 3 political parties doing working together in a campaign? Anybody? Davey, you know the answer.
They're writing in that
you're
Young's
right.
girl.
Yeah, he's on top of it. It's the Madison County Assistant DA, Bradley Moses, who is still running for a judicial seat after the craziness that happened allegedly at his home that involved ultimately fentanyl. Right, there was Narcan that had to be used, etc.
Yeah, so there, I think it's Rhonda Youngs is like a town judge in one of the neighboring municipalities, and they're pushing everyone to write her as the write-in to see if they can beat him.
So you now have Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, and the Conservative Party, everyone asking for people to write in, because she can't be on the ballot, to write in Republican Rhonda Youngs for that judicial seat. The Madison County Republican and Conservative parties, which both had backed Moses, have both endorsed Youngs as a write-in candidate. I mean, this is where, to me, we can look at this and say, boy, government doesn't work. How can somebody run after this happened? Wouldn't you want to just be like, I'm going to go away somewhere, figure things out, come back, and make my comeback? But I think the part that does work is we're looking at 3 competing parties, or at least two sides, the conservatives and the Republicans, and the Democrats, all working together for the good of the community. Boy, that's what a politics. They're setting an example right now for what politics is supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't expect anybody else to follow suit, but
you don't think that's going to spread throughout the country?
No.
Come on, Jeff.
Not a chance.
Have a little faith. Fox News, Ryan Schmelz standing by on the line right now. The Oath Keepers trial now getting underway, and this goes back to January 6th. And good morning, Ryan.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
What do we know about this?
Well, so the main person we're going to be focusing on here is going to be Stuart Rhodes, which is one of the founders of the Oath Keepers, and he's going to be on trial with 4 other members. And this is arguably the most serious trial we've seen related to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. So prosecutors are arguing that he planned an armed rebellion to keep Trump in power and were prepared to go to war to stop Joe Biden from becoming president. And they even also celebrated the Capitol attack as a victory and even continued their plot after the election was certified in the coming days after the January 6th attack. But the defense here has been arguing that the prosecutors have cherry-picked a lot of the comments from messages and videos from the Oath Keepers and said the government has no evidence there was any plan to actually attack the Capitol, and that he was just merely preparing for orders that they expected to come down from the former president that never did.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, these are the guys that are out there saying, you know, some of them were saying, you know, he said he was going to be here. He lied to us. There's been testimony about that, right, that the president was trying to go and wasn't allowed. He recently did an interview that I saw last night. President Trump did an interview where he said he didn't know anything about the Capitol insurrection until late in the day. He wasn't watching TV during the day, so he didn't even know this was going on until later on in the day. Did you see that interview, Ryan?
Briefly, but and you know, it's kind of one of those arguments that he's been making. You have people on the other side, whether they're talking to the January 6th committee, kind of contradicting what he's saying, or he's contradicting what they're saying. So there's so much contradictory evidence out there when it comes to so many of these cases, and that's kind of one of the things that we need to continue following because, you know, there is the truth out there somewhere, but I think people want to know what the actual one is.
Well, luckily we have video. Thank the Lord we have video. And the whole thing about President Trump not knowing about it, that's just BS, right? We know that's not true. He knew about it, completely knew about it. They all knew about it while it was happening. But somehow in this interview, he's saying, I didn't know until nighttime.
Believe me.
Anyway, I'm being a little facetious, Ryan. But on this Oath Keepers thing, the problem they have is video, right? Is postings, social media. This is the problem everybody has today in America, that just when you say, no, that didn't happen, there's a Facebook post or some sort of a social media outlet. There's a lot of that social media.
Right, and you're going to see, I think, prosecutors quite often in this case bringing up different social media posts and different messages, maybe text messages, phone calls that are out there that might be used against Rhodes in this case. Now, of course, as we just said, the defense is going to say that these were cherry-picked and used for you know, presentation-wise. But, yeah, you got to keep in mind when it comes to the January 6th attack, you know, compared to so many of these other major incidents that we've seen in our country, this is one that a lot of it was caught on video. Whether it was news camera videos, whether it was cell phone footage of just people who were there. There is a lot of video out there when it comes to January 6th, and that's one thing to keep in mind. That's a little bit different from what we're used to with these major events like this.
You know, Ryan, it's something that I've taught my kids since they were very young. If you're going to try to storm the Capitol, wear a good mask and post nothing on social media. I mean, we've been teaching our kids that from early on. So, listen, I'm in one of those moods. Ryan, thank you. Have a wonderful day. It's great to have you on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Anytime.
Thank you.
Not sure that we'll ever get him to call back into the show again, Bill. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm just in one of those moods today.
You are hilarious this morning, by the way.
Well, I just, you know, it's what no sleep and caffeine will get you. Remember, they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. I try to remember that as much as possible. Wayne says, okay, a couple things on Moses is all in. This is somebody reporting. My family in Madison County, they're getting campaign flyers. They're unaware. Moses is all in. My family in Madison County are getting campaign flyers. They're unaware of the write-in campaign for Rhonda Young's. She needs to spend some money if she wants to win. I completely agree with that. I mean, are you going to be able to pull off an under? I mean, I understand it's the established parties. All establishment is saying don't run for this former assistant DA. But you're not seeing commercials. Nobody's putting any real money behind the thing. I would think the parties should put some money behind it.
I agree. I don't know that I throw it at the candidate. She hasn't had an opportunity to fundraise, or maybe she did.
Right.
But, I mean, don't these parties have a little kitty that they can reach into if they really think that this is bad for the community and the county, and this is, a prestigious position, which obviously it is, and that he shouldn't be there, they ought to spend a little coin to go out there and tell people this is the issue and this is who we think you should support.
I agree. Wayne this morning has pictures of Wayne has been bright and early, shining flashlights on potholes this morning. We always talk about it. We always talk about it in the springtime, but not in the fall. Can
you send us some pictures?
I have one here that I can throw your way, but it's near a manhole cover, and it's a giant pothole that seems to be collapsing into the manhole cover.
Where is it?
He doesn't say where it is. You got to let us know where it is, Wayne, and get us some more of these. There's a story there. We talked earlier about the strike against Cisco. So they're warehouse people. There's a warehouse in Syracuse. Now you say, this is Syracuse. How does it affect us? If you're going to a restaurant in the area, high end, low end, medium range, if you're eating at a hospital cafeteria, there's a very good chance that at least some of the food you'll be eating came from Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
They're big with things, especially like you can get everything to feed a restaurant, and they're currently on strike. More than 300 workers, represented by Teamsters in Cisco in Boston on Saturday, walked off the job. 653 of them actually walked off the job in Boston on Saturday. That's 3 days after 230 in Syracuse walked off the job. What they're saying is that this strike with Cisco is beginning to spread. And the Teamsters Union, and we'll try to get somebody on from Teamsters for this, the Teamsters Union predicted last week when Cisco Syracuse walked off the job, be careful, this is going to spread unless they do something, because it's a problem that Cisco workers around the entire Northeast are complaining about.
And what's the issue? They just feel like they're underpaid?
They're saying unsafe, unfair working conditions. They're calling it the shot heard round the world. Warned several other Cisco-branded locations are currently working without a contract or have contracts about to expire. This could spread. Stay tuned. That was put out when they announced on the day after that Tuesday night that Cisco walked off the job in Syracuse. So this could affect your local restaurant and trying to get food, the foods that they normally rely on that are on their menu. It also could open some doors for some of the other companies out there that are food service providers. One that comes to mind is Casa Imports. Is also one. Of course, they focus a little bit more on Italian imports, but they'll do everything as well. So it does open doors for some other companies out there to take advantage of it. The world's largest pumpkin. This year's largest pumpkin. It's a U.S. record. A New York State farmer has set a new record. I guess it is a record in North America for the largest pumpkin. I've seen these pumpkins, and I kind of wonder, what do you have to do to make a pumpkin grow so much? Do you just keep pouring Miracle Grow on it?
You have to really babysit it. I mean, I think all these pumpkins, they put them on a platform so they don't get rot underneath, and they are constantly checking all of the
Is it like veal?
tendrils.
They're rubbing it down with milk and stuff like that. This is in Williamsville, New York. Weighed his locally grown pumpkin, which, by the way, is next to the nuclear plant there, at the Great Pumpkin, Great Pumpkin Farm in Clarence on Saturday. The massive pumpkin weighed 2,554 pounds. The previous record was 2,517 pounds, which in New Hampshire, there was a record of 2,528 pounds as the largest in America. And this came in at 2,554, 2,554 pounds. It is an enormous pumpkin.
Yeah, we're an odd bunch, aren't we? And I can see here, it's probably a father and his two sons. Let me see if they identify him. It's if you look at the photo, it almost has that feel like they just finished a late fall mud run.
Right,
or maybe they did a 10K together. Everyone's got, a New York State record banner or flyer, I should say, a certificate.
When you look at those people, you're like, they don't ever get sick. Those people never get sick.
Well, I mean, look, the sons or
their hands are dirty. They never get sick. How is that?
They look fit. One of them's got shorts on. I just don't know. Again, I'm not a farmer, so I'm not judging. I just don't know that I'd ever go, hey, you want to make the biggest pumpkin ever?
I don't know how it can be done without weed killer and without some sort of a fertilizer like Miracle Grow.
Well, but you can have an organic fertilizer like compost.
You can. But how much do you want to lay odds that, they just douse that in Miracle Grow? But you can put too much Miracle Grow on something, and it'll destroy it, right? And it burns it. So I don't know. How do you get such a large pumpkin? I just don't know.
I think that's a really wholesome thing for a family to do.
It is, to grow the largest. I mean, growing a pumpkin alone is probably pretty nice, right? You did it as a family. That's a pretty cool thing.
Bill doesn't know how you can grow it without a weed killer. I don't know how you come up with the idea without a weed smoker. Yeah. I really don't know, because I don't get what you do with it now.
Well, and my guess is it would make a lot of pumpkin pies, but probably being so large, it's probably very tough and very stringy. It's probably not a good pumpkin for.
Probably has amazing seeds, though. I wonder if the seeds are big.
They could be, yeah. Imagine, you can't fit those pumpkin seeds in your mouth. They're huge.
I challenge Manaski to grow a pumpkin with Carter next year.
For what? A tomato.
Then you'd carve it at the end of the year, or you could make a pumpkin pie. If you've ever had a pumpkin pie made from a homegrown pumpkin, it's a completely different texture because you don't get that mushiness that you get out of the can. It's a little more grainy, and because it's not as processed as much. It's a very good pumpkin pie.
I have a concern that if I do this, my neighbors are going to be like you, talking about your neighbors. They're going to be like, look at these idiots. They're growing pumpkins over here on Burr Ave and New York Mills.
You're assuming I talk about my neighbors. I don't know what you're talking about. Gunfire erupting after a high school football game. This was in Newburgh, downstate. 3 people wounded by gunfire following this past Friday night's high school football game. 43-year-old woman, 19-year-old woman with a 20-year-old man expected to survive, but they were shot in the parking lot. What is going on? I mean, it used to be these were places where you didn't have to worry, right? But it's not like that now. I just don't understand where we're going.
I mean, we've got schools with the metal detectors. I would imagine there's some protection at the football event itself. Do you have to start putting in metal detectors in the parking lot?
There are. I'm hearing that there are local schools that are no longer doing and there probably will be complaints over this, but local schools that are no longer doing the Halloween parades. So the kids all get dressed up and they go outside and they walk around the school and everybody, all the neighbors come out and the families come. Dad takes the afternoon off from work to see it, and that a lot of them are not doing it this year based on the climate of just stuff like this. Mm-hmm. I mean, think of the lack of security you have when you're bringing them out and parading them around the school. I mean, teachers and security can only do so much. Earlier, we talked about the COVID-19 and a twindemic. Doctors in the UK are saying as we go into autumn, COVID-19 seems to be surging again, according to officials. 40,650 people have tested positive in England. Oh, wonderful. In the 7 days up to and including the 24th of September. This was an increase of 42% in Great Britain. As they brace for another wave, experts are also concerned about a potential rise in influenza. So the twindemic would be a flu pandemic and don't look at me, Davey, a flu pandemic and a COVID pandemic, both at the same time. I find that hard to believe, considering that what we saw during the pandemic was that the flu was basically non-existent, right?
Right.
All during COVID, we didn't see much in terms of the flu. And Wayne says there are 4 different reports put up by different neighbors that are complaining about the potholes. This is on Lynch Ave in South Utica.
Oh, it is bad over there. I was going to say, I knew I was just over there, and I actually just dropped a buddy of mine off on Lynch Ave, and it is rough over there. It is crumbling.
Wayne, there's a hot pothole that he shows here in a photo that, and he said the worst thing is kids are playing around it, and it's right near a manhole cover.
Wayne also messaged me to say they pump up the weight of the pumpkin by injecting liquid into it. Like the guy that won a Bassmasters contest, they said they found rocks in the fish after inspection.
That's interesting. Although this pumpkin is very large, but now it's, you've gone from large to the largest ever in North America. And then this person here with some interest in the Madison County race. I think there are bylaws which makes it a problem with parties funding her because she wasn't the endorsed candidate. They may not be able to because of the bylaws in the party. But I would think that they could do it indirectly, right? You could have, don't do it as a party, but do it just as concerned citizens. You quickly form a group, raise some money, and spend a little money. But it's Madison County, so it's a little more difficult down there to reach the masses in Madison County.
One more thing we can blame COVID on. I'm going to say COVID.
And I say that because you oftentimes have to buy when you think about Madison County, you got to buy Syracuse because they watch Syracuse TV. They might watch a little Utica TV. There's cable TV. It becomes a little problematic.
But if people who live in that community are saying they don't even know about this issue, I don't know how that's possible.
How do you
put an
not
ad
know
in the
about
paper
it? Yeah.
for crying out loud.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So did COVID kill creativity? Because I thought this with the reenactments. Was it in Herkimer County or to the east of us?
Herkimer County in German Flats was having a military Civil War era reenactment, and they canceled it because of a confusion over the gun laws.
Now, in this thing with the whole excuse that maybe it's the bylaws, I mean, we can't get creative at all. No, I think they wrote 100 years ago, you can't do it. We can't be allowed to do it.
I think I agree, and I think that's my point here is that get together, not as a party, but just concerned community members. I mean, I think that could be done.
Spitball something together and figure it out.
Form your own little Madison County PAC that tries to quickly raise money for this candidate because she's going to have to do something if people are still unaware because when you walk into the voting place and you go up to your little kiosk, her name is not going to be on the ballot. You're going to have to write that name in. So that is a major difficult task. America loves to drink. They put out a list of the states that drink the most alcohol in America. Which state do you feel will come in first when it comes to consumption of alcohol? I'll tell you about that coming up in a second. Quick break. Also, Comets tickets to give away. We'll do it in a little while, and it's really easy. I just open the lines. We throw questions out. You answer the question correctly, you walk away with a 4-pack of Utica Comets tickets, and they're opening up a week from last night. 2 weeks from last night, I should say. Opening up at the Adirondack Bank Center. 649 at WIBX.
I'm Marima Smagic-Oren, candidate for Oneida County Clerk. I'm running for 2 reasons. The first, background. I'm an independent businesswoman, a real estate broker. But most important, I'm a lawyer. The same lawyer who took the greedy absentee owners of the Obelson Apartments to court and won. The second reason, backbone. I'm the only candidate willing to confront Tony Picenti and the county legislature. I'm the only candidate willing to fight for a full-time, fully staffed Rome DMV. And I'm the only candidate willing to fight for a faster, more customer-friendly Utica DMV. The John E. Creedon Police Benevolent Association, Utica's Men and Women in Blue, back me because I'm experienced. The Nonpartisan Reform Party endorsed me because I'm independent. And the state's largest healthcare workers union gave me their support because I'm qualified. The Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren paid for this message because they know I believe in people, not politicians. Please remember, Marima, background and backbone. Thank you.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need to get your home ready for fall and winter. With colder weather coming, consider replacing your windows and doors with a more energy-efficient option. They also carry a wide variety of lumber, roofing, siding, trims, and more for your fall projects. With 3 convenient locations in Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady, Little Falls Lumber is there wherever the job takes you. Stop in today or give them a call, 315-823-2470, or visit littlefallslumber.com.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. When your state planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for a free estimate.
Oh boy, Buddy. The Buddy Holly story is back and it's better than ever. An incredible story of music, ambition, and love. This show will have you dancing in the aisles. Don't miss Buddy.
Broadway Utica presents the Buddy Holly story at the Stanley. One night only, Sunday, October 16th at 4 p.m. Get tickets at the Stanley Theater or at Ticketmaster.com.
You love your pets, but sometimes they have accidents. And removing pet urine odors and stains from your carpets can be challenging. Plus, pet urine can soak through the carpet and cause major damage. Sometimes it's even tough to figure out where the accident happened. At ABC Chem Dry, we can find and eliminate even the worst odors and stains with PERT, our revolutionary pet urine removal treatment. Most cleaners only mask odors, but PERT goes to the molecular level, destroying urine crystals and eliminating the odor at its source. Without proper cleaning, odors from pet accidents can take over your entire home and often lead to repeat incidents in the same area. At ABC Chem Dry, we guarantee we'll get the smell out for good. And because PERT is completely safe for children and pets, we promise you a healthier clean too. For help with pet stains and odors, trust ABC Chem Dry, your healthy home authority. Call us at 315-738-1111 or visit abcchemcleaners.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, you can check out our app. Very easy for you to go and download. Go to Google Play or the App Store for Apple users and search WIBX 950. And it's free to download. If there's breaking news, we'll throw it your way. Otherwise, we won't bother you, I don't think. And also, you can check us out on YouTube Live. That is just YouTube, for the record. It's not YouTube TV. It's YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search Keeler Livestream. And you can do that even on your TV, your smart TV. You can be watching us in high definition. As one person said to me, although I will admit it was my father, I can't believe how good that looks. That was a direct quote from my father the other day. You can check it out, and as he said, it is in full high definition. Of course, you can check us out on the radio and at FM, 106.9 FM. You know, we're going to be 100 years old in 2 years. In 2025, this radio station will be 100 years old. And look at, you know, it used to be just 9:50 a.m., and that's all. That now it's all these different opportunities, all these different chances to listen and watch. And then on top of that, you know, back in those days, they used to just do radio.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Yeah. Which states do you think, and I kind of, before I even glance at this list, I kind of feel like you'll find the states that have less to do will drink more alcohol.
Okay.
I always feel like you have your big inner city schools, and everybody says, well, that's where all the drugs are, in those big school districts, in those cities, especially in the inner city. But I think when you find a rural district out in the middle of nowhere, and it takes 45 minutes to get to the nearest city or 30 minutes to get to the nearest city, I think those areas have a very high rate of drug abuse and alcohol abuse.
Per capita, you're saying?
Done per capita, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to do.
Could be. It absolutely could be. And you think that's how this is going to
I think
break
it's
down
going
here?
to. And okay, not completely, but
my guess is Louisiana, but
New Hampshire is number one on the list. So
really,
and New Hampshire's pretty fairly rural. I mean, there are a couple cities, but it's nice country. But you'd think of that as a unique place in America, New Hampshire. But then Washington D.C. comes in number two.
Okay.
So my theory is out the door. Followed by Delaware, Nevada, North Dakota, Montana, Vermont, Idaho, Wisconsin, and Colorado. All fairly with a lot of rural areas. A lot of alcohol being consumed. Where does New York fall in on the list in terms of alcohol? Number 34 out of the 50 U.S. states. Or I guess we're at 51 because we included D.C.
So, and what's the number assigned? Is it just a ranking? Like,
They're saying
did they say
this is gallons of ethanol per capita, 4.67 gallons per capita for those in New Hampshire, compared to New York, which comes in at 2.21. That's quite surprising.
Really?
Remember, marijuana is legal now in New York, so maybe that has lowered some of the alcohol consumption. I don't know.
Maybe.
Gallons overall, though. Gallons overall, which state consumes the most? And it's pretty much very similar, although it changes when it comes to overall gallons, because now we're not going per capita. We're looking at population. And you'd expect California, Texas, Florida, New York are in the top 4 because it's based on population.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I could see Louisiana. I keep going back to Louisiana, and Las Vegas was on there. But again, those are destinations where people go and get blackout. I don't even remember the trip drunk.
Correct. I think you were to look at Vegas, for instance, or Atlantic City or places like that where people go to party, and even different times of year. Daytona Beach or Fort Lauderdale during the springtime would be high in alcohol consumption. Today is National Taco Day, if you care. National Taco Day. And it just so happens to be a Tuesday, so it fits in perfectly for you. National Taco Day.
LeBron James is saying cha-ching right now. He thinks he made up Taco Tuesday. He wanted to try to copyright it.
I understand that. Do you think that he really thinks that he did?
That he either thinks that he did or someone told him, look, it's first come, first served, dude. The guy who created whatever didn't actually create it, but he was the first one to file an application and copyright it.
Fair enough.
So I think that's where that's where.
Then he's the guy. And Monday Night Football last night. Did you watch any of Monday Night Football?
I caught some of it on the radio.
So with seconds remaining in the first half of last night's game, a man ran onto the field. They actually referenced this. Ran onto the field at Levi's Stadium carrying a pink smoke flare as yellow-clad security. This is amazing how this went down. As yellow-clad security staffers struggled to keep up, a pair of Rams defenders saw their opportunity. I mean, they needed something to do in that game.
Yeah.
When the protester ran on the sideline in front of the Rams bench, defensive end is it Tackerist McKinley chased the protester directly into the path of All-Pro linebacker Bobby Wagner, who trucked him into the turf.
Really?
Here's how here's how Joe Buck made the call.
Fan is on the field, so we'll have a bit of a stoppage, and now some of the Rams players get involved. And Bobby Wagner had enough. He just took the fan down.
I just saw somebody running on the field, and he looked like he wasn't supposed to be on the field. So I saw security was having a little problem, so I helped him out.
I mean, when security, the entire security team walks up to a football player, they're all doing what? They're all looking up. The last thing you want to do is run in front of that bench, because all you need is one of those players to take you out, and that's exactly what the Rams did.
They should do more of that.
I think there should be more of that. Got a break. News straight ahead. Comets tickets and our free money question coming up next
From
hour.
the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
They're still looking for Ian's victims in Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The hurricane is blamed for more than 100 deaths, 97 of them in Florida. And Congressman Greg Steube, who owns his own home that's out of power, tells Fox.
Unfortunately, I think that death count is going to continue as law enforcement is able to get into places that we haven't even been able to physically get into because the water has been so high.
Some barrier islands that Ian hit first are still cut off. Fox's Alexandria Hoff went to one.
We did accompany the Florida National Guard and that Black Hawk helicopter as they continued drop-offs of heavy machinery and supplies. That was on Pine Island where we landed. It's also inaccessible by car.
That's again, she talked to people who rode out the storm on the island.
And these stories have been so impactful. They have stuck with me. The man we spoke with yesterday who said he clung to a tree 12 feet in the air for 3 hours thinking he was the only survivor, to a man told me he survived 4 days with a broken hip before being able to be taken to safety.
More than 400,000 homes and businesses in Florida remain without power. Tomorrow, President Biden will go there. Yesterday in Puerto Rico, He saw areas hit hard by Hurricane Fiona.
The people of Puerto Rico keep getting back up with resilience and determination.
And he promised every bit of help the U.S. can give to rebuild damaged infrastructure. The U.S. and South Korea playing war games off the coast today with fighter jets firing weapons at targets in a show of strength, reacting to North Korea's latest missile test. Its longest ever, a ballistic missile that flew over Japan.
Millions of people on alert, many scrambling for shelters. The missile reported to travel nearly 3,000 miles, landing in the Pacific. That launch condemned by Japan, South Korea, and the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reaffirmed the need to hold North Korea accountable for unacceptable behavior.
It's one of many missile tests in the last week by North Korea. America's listening to Fox News.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. This is Stephen K. Bennett. I want to remind you that you can still protect your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned money. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning. News time is 7:03. 43 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by the Forgo Agency. They want to be your insurance people. Call 797-8080. Visit them online or stop in and see them on Route 12B in New Hartford. Police are asking for your help finding a missing man. 87-year-old Donald Majka was last seen when a family member visited him at about 7 o'clock on Sunday night on River Road in Rome. Donald is thought to be en route to Lewis County. He's thought to be driving a 2013 Lexus. We'll have that photo up on WIBX950.com coming up in the next hour. Anyone with information is being asked to call police, or you can always call Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. Police still looking into a shooting that took the life of a 25-year-old man. Isaiah Hudson was shot in the head Sunday night in Syracuse. He ended up crashing his vehicle into a home. He was rushed to the hospital but pronounced dead shortly after arriving. No other injuries were reported. So far, no arrest has yet been made in connection with that case. An Oneida County man under arrest facing multiple charges after an alleged domestic incident. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office says several police agencies, including state police and forest rangers, were called to a home in Remsen for a domestic dispute. 32-year-old Christian C. Rodriguez was taken into custody and brought to Oneida County Correctional. He was charged, among other things, with unlawful imprisonment. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says additional funding has been secured that will help thousands of upstate residents stay warm this winter. The New York Democrat said yesterday $1 billion will go toward the federal Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or HEAP, which will provide people with funds to pay their heating bills. The money comes from a temporary budget bill passed by Congress. Utility companies are projecting a large spike in home heating bills in the coming months because of several reasons. One, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, and the other, supply chain issues still caused by the COVID-19 crisis. And they've sold millions of albums and have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now the Beach Boys are announcing a trip to Central New York later this year. The 'Tis the Season with the Beach Boys concert featuring the Holiday Vibrations Orchestra Tour will be in Syracuse on December 7th. Songs from the band's 1964 holiday album will be performed. Tickets go on sale on Friday. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Mostly cloudy, the high near 61 degrees. More clouds tonight with a low around 41. Mostly sunny on Wednesday, the high near 69. Mostly clear Wednesday night with a low around 45 degrees. Things will warm up ever so slightly on Thursday. Mostly sunny with a high near 71. A chance of showers Thursday night, mostly cloudy, with a low around 49 degrees, and things get cooler again on Friday. A chance of showers, mostly cloudy, the high on Friday just near 60 degrees, and a chance of showers Friday night, mostly cloudy, with a low around 38 degrees, and we will see some frost in those higher elevations. Right now, 43 degrees, partly cloudy skies, WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. In sports, Monday Night Football last night, the San Francisco 49ers taking down the defending champion Rams. 24-9 the final, a game you heard right here on WIBX 950. Coverage brought to you by Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning. More news around the NFL. The Dolphins ruling out Tua Tagovailoa for their game Sunday. The head coach Mike McDaniel saying he'll miss at least the road game against the Jets as he works his way back from concussion protocol. McDaniel said there is no definite timeline for Tagovailoa's return under center. The Broncos losing their starting running back to a season-ending injury as Javonte Williams has officially suffered a torn ACL and LCL in his right knee. The second-year running back had just 204 yards on the ground this season. Cut short, of course, after getting hurt against the Raiders on Sunday. The Falcons going to be without one of their playmakers for a while. Atlanta placing running back Cordero Patterson on injured reserve after undergoing a knee procedure. He will not be out for the rest of the season. And the Major League Baseball playoff field is set after the Phillies punched their ticket last night, Bill. The Phils locked up their first trip to the postseason in 11 years with a 3-0 victory in Houston. While the 12-team playoff field is now complete, matchups have not been officially finalized and will be decided over the final 2 days of the regular season.
I don't want to question Richard, but he's saying that if the only way the Mets could win, and I guess it's a pipe dream, I get it, and they're going to the playoffs, but the only way they could win their division would be if they were to win the next three games. And the Braves were to lose their next two because the Braves lost last night. They have only a 1.5 game lead on the Mets. Mets playing a doubleheader today. So he's saying the Braves won 10 games to the Mets 9 this year, and that is the tiebreaker.
That is the tiebreak. Baseball got rid of the game 163 if teams are tied in the standings, and the direct head-to-head meeting is the way it's being decided. I thought the Mets had the advantage. I didn't look it up.
Too. But remember, they just got swept 3 games.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But so I had, after the sweep this weekend, I had given up hope. I didn't think it was possible.
I did not watch the game. Well, there wasn't a game last night anyway, but I did see that the Braves lost. So they got beat 4-0 by the Marlins.
As you mentioned, the Mets were rained out last night. They'll play a doubleheader today against the Washington Nationals. Carlos Carrasco expected to get the start in the first game, and Taijuan Walker in game 2. The Yankees opened their final series of the regular season with a 3-1 victory over the Rangers in Arlington. Luis Severino improved to 7-3. He threw 7 scoreless, did not allow a hit, was taken out of the game. Marwin Gonzalez and Giancarlo Stanton each had home runs in the 8th inning. Aaron Judge was 1 for 4. He's stuck on 61.
Davey, is he going to do it, or do we stay at 61? I mean, I have to say the Maris family has got to be like, we're here for every game.
Well, he's got 2 chances today. They play a doubleheader starting at 2:05 and then 8:05 tonight.
All right.
And then tomorrow. I think he's going to do it.
Man, that one that he hit the other night that was the tie. You just knew it was gone. What a home run that was. I mean, that was just a classic Judge home run.
Even John Sterling jumped on it. No, it's gone. Roger Maris.
He was quite excited.
Yeah, when I played that, you were laughing real hard.
I couldn't stop laughing. I know this is annoying to a lot of people, and at times it has been to me. His little nickname for everybody, his little unique call for everybody who rounds the bases. For instance, if it was you, and hit a home run, he'd come up with something. I should have thought this out first, but he would be like, "Grab your headphones, Bill Keeler's radio show begins." Yeah. Right? He would do this whole thing that's unique to you. Well, he did it, and he missed the most important part. He said, he usually says, what is it? I'm forgetting it. What does he say before all rise? Here comes the
rise.
Here comes the judge.
Yes.
He skipped all rise.
Yeah. I think he just got so excited that his normal line of cliches just couldn't pump him out.
That's right, John.
Yeah.
I like to know what his home run call for me would be.
Something about you've got your mojo back.
Can I also
Yes.
can I also make a complaint for anybody that watched, and I'm probably one of the few that went digging around to watch the Syracuse game on Saturday, and because it was on ESPN Plus or ACC Network, which is now owned by ESPN. But you had to dig a little bit. You had to go. You had to put your TV provider in. I ended up subscribing to ESPN Plus, which I'll cancel that because I didn't need to. Because as long as you have a subscriber, you could have watched. You're a subscriber of cable, you could have watched it anyway. Davey, did you see the did you see the Syracuse game? Did you see any of it on TV?
No, I listened to it on the radio.
Okay, so there was a female announcer, and she sounded like to me, if you've got that game, Syracuse Wagner, you're new. And it was so annoying because every touchdown was like they had just won the national championship. And keep in mind, the final score was 59-0. By halftime, by the end of the first quarter, I'm like, you got to shut this woman up. She's, just flipping out over every touchdown. I mean, it gets to a certain point where it's like, and they score again.
Was she a student? Or was she a
No,
professional
she was ESPN. She was an ESPN. She was not good.
And speaking of Syracuse,
annoying. And meanwhile, the color commentators completely the opposite. He's like, "That is right. We have another." I thought he was calling a golf game. That is right. We have another touchdown.
And speaking of Syracuse, did you see they announced the airtime for the North Carolina State game next week?
1 o'clock, right?
3:30 national afternoon prime time.
Okay, so that was an afternoon kickoff. But
and speaking of Syracuse, go to our man Scott on 1.
Okay, all right. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, with big news because Syracuse has won 5 games every year. Scott
loses money on the Syracuse over-under.
Well, he won last year. So he picks the over-under. How many games will Syracuse win? And he won last year, I think, didn't you?
Yep, exactly.
And this year, I mean, holy moly, you should have put a lot of money on this one.
Well, this one, it was interesting. I didn't have to risk as much to win as much because it was only $113 for every $100 you wanted to win. Last year was $140 for every 100 because last year was only 3. This year was 4.5, so it's 5. So what I did was
I'm completely confused after that. How much so if you put down $100, how much do you win?
Well, you have to put down 113 for every. If you want to win 100, you have to put down 113 to win 100.
Okay.
So
the over was the favorite then.
Well, it was, to be honest, it was about the same. It was you usually don't see that. Last year was 140 for 100, and I think it was even money if you want to go under 3. But of course, they came out for 1-10 season. But the schedule is supposed to be tougher this year, and so 4.5 was supposed to be tougher than last year at 3. If you look at the teams that are supposed to be ranked in the top 25 to start the season, now Pittsburgh, Notre Dame has dropped out. And Florida State was hovering. So this was a tougher year to pick it because you could look at a lot of losses, but yet there's a lot of wins. A lot of 50-50 games. And so far, our 50-50 games have gone Syracuse's way. The Virginia, Purdue, and Louisville was a dominant game. We weren't in any trouble. So what I did was, what we did last year, I said, we'll take you out to lunch, and I'm actually going to be in the area. Jane, the barber from Millions, actually doing my hair we're celebrating 40 years of her cutting my curls. Now it started out as curls. Now it's single curls.
So is that so? I understand. So you're saying Jane the barber, not John the barber?
No, Jane the barber from Millions. The best cut naturally curls. When I moved up to Syracuse, I tried a couple other barbers, and there's no way that they.
So you drive all the way down to the valley and get your hair cut.
All the way down to the valley. That's how good she is. Now, we came in the summer and got there right at the right time. her husband would actually be barbecuing. So if you knew what time they're doing it, you can get there for a burger and a beer and a haircut.
Wow, nice.
Timed it perfectly and stuff. But,
great deal, yeah.
So October 20th, I'm going to be in town. I got a 1:30 appointment. If you guys are available around 2 o'clock, we can do the lunch. If not, we can do it later in the year. But
all right, well, let's see what we can work out on the 20th.
Yeah,
I'll put it down.
I think about 2 o'clock.
All right, cool.
I think the Waterfront Grill serves lunch until 3. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Like that. But I just called also. Have you talked to Donnie Livo? I know he lives in Florida. Is he
Don was on this week. In fact, he's working on a big story right now. A couple of big stories. It'll be up on our website. One involving Babe Ruth, which has some local ties. But Don survived the hurricane. At one point, said they were hiding with his dog in a closet.
Yeah.
Wow.
During the winds upwards of 150 miles an hour.
Wow, we were in the same fraternity up at HCCC. It was called I Tap a Keg.
I don't remember. Didn't remember many fraternities, but definitely that one was one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Then I actually studied abroad in Italy. The college was called What's the Matter, You?
Oh, okay.
That was a classic one too. And
where's the rim shot?
Apparently,
there it is. Yeah, it's been missing.
The one thing I do miss is it Ryan Noble, the one that works for CNN?
I was going to mention.
Is he still on?
I was going to mention Ryan has left CNN and announced yesterday he's going to NBC News.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just the announcement came yesterday, and he's been off with us. I don't know what I can say, so I'm not going to say anymore. But he's been off because he was in a contract negotiation situation. So we've not talked to him on air in a while, but it was announced yesterday that he's going to NBC News. That's a big gig, by the way.
Yes, it is.
But the thing I was going to miss, because I was waiting for him to say something positive about President Trump. I was kind of waiting for 4 years to hear that. I thought he was, he's about as fair as balanced as my friend on my car after driving through the New Hartford Plaza shopping parking lot.
Yeah, that is an adventure.
Kind of pulls to the left a little bit, after driving through there. So I thought, right. And how about Angelo? Did he actually get us? But he wanted to go out to Second City and
Angelo's out in Chicago. I've not heard from him since he's gone back to school. But we'll get an update from him as well. See, if I can just set everybody up here. See if Dr. Hall can do 40, okay, Davey? See if he can do like 740. So Scott used to watch on TV. He's out near Syracuse, used to watch on TV because the television station on the cable system used to get out there. Scott is not a technical person. He loves to bet, but he's not a technical person. So because we've gone off TV and we're now on, we have an app you could be listening on. We have now on YouTube Live, which is better quality than what you used to watch on TV. You're unable to pick up any of that. So maybe when you come down, I'm just saying, when you come down, bring your equipment, whatever technology you have, and we'll set it up for you, and you can watch.
Okay.
All right.
The Angelo thing. I actually performed at Second City too. Actually, what happened was I fell asleep on the bus and missed the first bus stop, so I got off at the Second City and performed there.
Right.
So,
well, now you're really losing it. You're losing it. You should have stopped while you were behind.
I know. Hey, listen, I do. Oh yeah, is that Jeff? Okay, is that Nasty Manaski there? Is that?
Well, that's Nasty
the one
Manaski.
giving me that little.
This morning, this morning we're referring to him as a realist. Unfortunately. So.
Well, I still remember the 37 you shot in the back nine, Jeff.
I was just telling that story last night.
Yeah. Did you tell the story? Well, see, the thing is, I heard an asterisk because the windmill wasn't working on the 11th
yeah. Well, at least that is funny. Okay.
Dude, you had a couple. This was your best day by far. You had three jokes that really I laughed at.
Threes. Get your three best and leave the others at home. Okay.
That's right. Right.
All right. Thank you.
Guys,
Keep
at the 20th.
The 20th.
That's good for you. If not, if Christine's in town, if Andrew Or Antonelli wants to show up for Antonelli?
Christine's running for the hills, just for the record.
I'll make reservations, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Scott, thanks, man. Have a great day. Thank you. Good talking to you. He's all excited because I think he was at 4.5. So Syracuse had to win 5 games, and he'd win this big bet. It must be pretty big because it's enough where he wants to take everybody out to lunch. Has he ever told you how much he won, Davey?
No, but I talk to Scott regularly, so.
Okay. How much did he win then?
He didn't. He hasn't told me how much he's won.
He hasn't told
So
us.
that means it was a lot.
Yeah. Well.
So
or it's almost nothing, and he's playing it up a little.
And he's offering to buy lunch for some guy Antonelli. I don't know who that is. Just kidding, obviously.
Yeah. All right, I got a break. Coming up, I want to get into this because they're saying one of the indicators for us when it comes to COVID and flu and everything else is looking to places around the world. Australia is a big one because they go through their winter over the summer, and wintertime is when everybody comes indoors, and it seems like this virus, both of these viruses seem to spread that way. But now you're seeing increases in England and in Great Britain, big increases to the point where they're worried that we might be going, or they might be going into what is called a twin-demic. Not a pandemic, but a twin-demic, meaning it could be pandemic level for both the flu and for COVID-19. Wouldn't that be a joyous occasion? So what does it all mean, and is the doc worried at all? We'll talk to Dr. Kent Hall coming up in a few minutes.
I guess version 1.2.1.5 is the starter for the first game. For the nightcap, they haven't named a starting pitcher yet.
Not yet. COVID something or other. Stand by. Coming right back, giving you a chance to win Utica Comets tickets as they open up in just 2 weeks. That's next on WIBX.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton. Here at Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we take the term planning seriously. Estate planning is meant to take the stress out of life's uncertainties, such as illness, disability, and death. Traditional planning is critically important, but some situations require special consideration. For instance, if you're a parent with young children, in a blended family, or in an unmarried relationship, you face unique legal challenges. At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we can help navigate those challenges. And while planning ahead is very important, if you have the loved one that's currently in a nursing home or extended care facility, it's not too late to act to protect assets against those expenses. Call us today to find out how to use strategies to protect your assets. My team and I can help you sort through any of these legal issues. I'm Rob Hilton, inviting you to call Hilton Estate and Elder Law for a free consultation.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Jim McGuire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Utica. As a provider of trusted financial services in Utica, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like the Women's Fund of Herkimer and Oneida counties and the Capitol Theater in Rome, because we care about Utica. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences. Too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Now's the time to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits will ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats government food lines hands down. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Adrian and Peter heard Mattress Express's new weekend talk show called Pillow Talk.
They loved the segment about the number bed by Instant Comfort, where you could make each side of the bed as soft or as firm as you like. They came to our store in Clay on Route 31 next to Matthews Kia. Peter liked a softer bed. They chose the Q9 Queen Flex Head. His number was 18. We elevated his head a little and his feet a little higher, put the massage on high. He said that was perfect. Adrian liked a firmer bed. Her number was 32. She liked her head elevated a little higher and her feet a little less, and she liked the massage on high. They were thrilled to each have their own custom beds but be in the same bed, and they loved the fact that we had the Flex Head in a queen. It was affordable because they qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, and for their luxury reward, they chose a $500 prepaid gas card. Visit any store, no appointment necessary, or call 1-800-NEW-BEDS.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Look at some of these questions here that have been prepared for me to give away Utica Comets tickets. Davey, I got to tell you, some of these are so easy. Like, do you want to hear one of them? I'm going to throw one at you, okay?
Okay.
This is one I'm not going to use on the air. I guess I'm technically using it on the air, but I'm not for the contest. Get ready. We're asking you to call in a second to win Utica Comets tickets, a 4-pack. And they open up a week from last night. They open up the Adirondack Bank Center.
2 weeks from last night.
I keep saying a week. 2 weeks from last night. I know it. I just keep saying it incorrectly. Weird. Okay, here's the question, Davey. Are you ready?
Yes.
How many 20-minute sessions are there in a game of ice hockey?
Ready?
3.
Yeah, isn't that the easiest question? It's like, right? That's
I mean,
yeah, stupid.
Would you pull these questions off a website?
Apparently, off a children's website. That's what it sounds like.
These are stupid questions.
These are dumb. Okay, if you want to win tickets to the Comets, looks like we have some easy questions here. 315-736-0186. Davey, I'll take the callers, so just let them ring. If you're ringing off the hook, don't worry, because I'm going to get to you if the person in front of you gets it wrong. This is to win a 4-pack of tickets for the Utica Comets, which 2 weeks from last night, they open up at the Adirondack Bank Center. Easy questions, and let's start with caller number 1. Hi, good morning. Who are you?
Name's Joe.
Hi, Joe. Where are you calling from, Joe?
Frankfurt, New York.
Frankfurt, New York. Okay, here we go. For a 4-pack of tickets, here is your question. Boy, I'm trying to sift through the really, really easy ones, but all right. Here we go. Okay, what professional ice hockey star did not hang up his skates until he was 52, and he had played 2,421 games?
Wow. Was it Hall? Bobby Hall?
Was it Bobby Hall? No. It is the kind of obvious answer, Gordie Howe.
Yeah, I thought it was Gordie Howe.
Oh,
right.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday's. And it's another Gordie Howe question here. So, all right, try again. We're going to do it every day, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Hi, good morning. Who's this?
It's Billy.
Hey, Billy. How you doing? What's going on?
Good.
For Comets, go ahead.
Get ready to win.
Getting ready to win. That's exactly what you should do. All right, here we go.
That's the right attitude.
Good attitude for a 4-pack of tickets to see the Utica Comets 2 weeks from last night, opening up at the Adirondack Bank Center. Turn on the red light, right, is the commercial you keep saying. Okay, here is your question. What, okay, the teamed up to pay, what 2 well-known hockey figures teamed up to pay $451,000 for this is a tough question, actually. Maybe not.
Very tough.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you this one, but I'll do it just in case. What 2 well-known hockey figures teamed up to pay $451,000 for a rare Honus Wagner baseball card in 1991?
Oh, boy. It's, I'm going with Bobby Clark and Gordie Howe. They teamed up for it. You can't prove it different, I don't believe.
I don't think we can, but unfortunately I have. It is different. Yeah, it was Wayne Gretzky and Bruce McNall. Yeah, that was a tough question. All right, let me give you another one. Okay, here we go. Here's your question. This one's for real. Are you ready, Billy?
Yeah.
What pro team made it to the playoffs a record 29 straight times, and they hit number 29 in 1996? Ready, go.
Rangers.
You're going to go with the New York Rangers. Second guess. All right.
Is it the Red
Billy.
Wings?
Sorry, Billy. It was the Boston Bruins.
Oh, that was my third guess.
Yeah. All right. Try again tomorrow, Billy. Thank you, man.
You got it.
Have a great day. Hi. Hello there. Who's this?
Wayne.
Hi, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Here we go. Trying to pick a question here. And yeah, here's one. Would you imagine asking this? In which sport is Canadian Wayne Gretzky an all-time great?
Badminton.
Is it badminton? Yeah, I think it is badminton. Oh, here's a good one. Here is a good one. And here's where you're going to be faced with, I realize there's an obvious answer, but is that the correct answer? Are you ready?
Yes.
In which country did the game of ice hockey originate? Ready, go.
I'll say Switzerland.
You're going to go with Switzerland. Is it Switzerland? Oh, it's Canada, man. It's Canada. But that's
I would think that, but I didn't think that because you told me not to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The answer seems obvious. The only thing is, do you go with the obvious, or is it some weird thing like Switzerland?
I went with the weird thing.
You did. All right.
Have a good day, guys.
All right. Well, listen, maybe I sent you off in the wrong direction. I'm going to give you one more chance.
All right.
Like I think I may have led you to the wrong answer. Okay. So here is your question. I gotta find a good one. And hold on. Okay. All right. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
This is your final one. What U.S. city was first to have a team in the National Hockey League? What U.S. city was first to have a team in the National Hockey League?
Minnesota? Or are you saying city?
City. Pick something in the Northeast.
Minneapolis?
That's Boston. All right, Wayne. Good trying. Good trying, man.
Boston was the answer?
Boston, yeah. 1924.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Later, guys.
Thank you, man. I'll do one more, and then we'll have to move this to the 8 o'clock hour. I'm running out of time.
What was the original 8? Was Boston, Detroit, New York, Montreal. Smitty, help me. Boston, Detroit, New York, Montreal.
So the Rangers, right?
Yeah.
I'm done. Chicago.
Chicago, yes, the Blackhawks. Was it an original 6 or original 7? I'm struggling with the other one. Anyway, you can move on because I'll be here all day trying to figure this out.
Boston is the first. All right, who's this? Hi, good morning.
Tom.
Hi, Tom. Where are you calling from?
Utica.
Okay, all right.
Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, I think, is on that list also.
I think you may be right. Okay, here is your question. What team in the national? Some of these are so easy, and others are a little difficult. But maybe you can pull this off. What team has the highest Stanley Cup playoff winning percentage? Ready, go.
Canadians.
You're going with Montreal.
Yeah.
Well, very close. Are you saying the team is Canadian?
Yeah, the winning percentage or most wins?
Highest Stanley Cup playoff winning percentage.
Oh, Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs.
Yes.
Well, we gave it a try, but it's the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can you freaking believe
that?
I
thought that was the tip. Toronto is one of the original 8, by the way, also.
Okay, man. Try again, all right? We're going to do it again next hour.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Just when you have like really easy questions, these are kind of tough. These turned out to be kind of tough after all. Coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Kent Hall. As long as we're in the contest mood, let's give you a chance to win Hobica's free money question of the day. It's from the Hobica law firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica at 315-724-1600. All right, you have a chance to win here. We'll take caller number what, Davey? 6. Caller 6 takes a shot. And I can only tell you, I think the question will be easier than some of these hockey questions. Caller 6 at 315-736-0186 right now to win cash from Hobica and WIBX.
Utica Comets, this is Roxanne.
Roxanne, it's almost hockey season. Put on the red light.
What? You just told me not to put on the red light.
No. You gotta put on the red light. Put on the red light. Put on the red light.
Okay, we get it. The season starts October 17th. Can I stop now?
Oh, come on. One more time.
Tickets on sale at uticacomets.com. See you October 17th.
Hi, this is Tom from Gates Cole Insurance. We're an independent insurance company, which means we will research all the different companies we represent and find the best coverage. You avoid the one-size-fits-all insurance policies by letting us work for you.
My name is Robert Bartholomew. I'm the second assistant chief here at Taberg Volunteer Fire Company. We've dealt with Gates Cole, I think it's been since 1996. I held one of the officer roles, and it was the first time that I got to meet Bill on a professional level. Bill come in, and he was the insurance guy. He knew more about our trucks at that point than I did. He knew the values of them, he knew what the replacement values are, and from an insurance point, he knew those trucks inside and out.
Hi, this is Bill Cole, proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York. Gates Cole Insurance, we'll take care of you.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
I'm Marima Smagic-Oren, candidate for Oneida County Clerk. The American dream is my American reality. I came to the United States when I was 4 years old, worked hard, and became a citizen the right way. My first home was on Brinkerhoff Ave in Cornhill. My first school was Thomas Jefferson Elementary in North Utica. I graduated from Proctor High School when I was 16, went to Albany Law School, and became a lawyer at 23. I became a lawyer because I knew that as an attorney, I could handle anything that was thrown at me. I know that as county clerk, I can handle anything that's thrown at you. I'll fight for a full-time DMV in Rome. I'll work for a better DMV in Utica. I'll put people over politics. I'll build a better Oneida County Clerk's office. That's why the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren paid for this message. Thank you.
Talk about Adirondack Bank and a mortgage tailored for your needs. Mortgage options at Adirondack Bank include fixed conventional mortgages, construction, FHA, VA mortgages, second home, vacation home, investment, camp financing program, USDA rural housing loans. Adirondack Bank has you covered. Your dream home begins at Adirondack Bank. Whether it's your first home or a refinance, you're upsizing or downsizing, moving on up, whatever you're doing, they, Adirondack Bank, have the perfect mortgage that suits your needs. Their team of professional and dedicated staff can help you choose the product that's perfect for you. Local bank, local decisions. Begin online at adkbank.com. A mortgage from Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Listen, every morning at this time, we give you a chance to win from the Hobica Law Firm. Dough, cash. And I put a whole bunch of cash in the mail yesterday. We don't really send the cash, but a lot of winners went out yesterday. And, Hobica's money seems like it's an endless supply. It does seem, doesn't it? Just keeps coming and coming and coming. And you could win it. And here's Mark in Westmoreland to take a shot.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
You ready to take your shot here this morning?
I'm going to be moving on up.
You're going to be moving on up.
When's that money, man? To the east side. I'm finally going to get a piece of the pie.
A piece of the pie. Man, you are. I think we're going to call you Mark the Cliche Man. I love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
All right, $106.90 on the line. Here is your question. This is your question. Charles Hardin Holly, Holley. Charles Hardin Holly is better known by this stage name. Ready, go.
Stage name?
Stage name.
Charlie Chaplin. I don't know.
Charlie Chaplin. Is it Charlie Chaplin?
Of course it's not.
You know, if you knew Peggy Sue, then you know why I'm so blue. Buddy,
oh, man, not Richie. No, not Richie Valens.
Not Richie
that
Valens.
other guy there with the big glasses.
Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly, yeah.
Same
the
plane.
Big glasses guy.
Yeah. There's a
And they
Buddy
died in
Holly.
the same plane crash.
Broadway Utica's has a Buddy Holly show coming, right? And we'll have tickets for that coming up, too, which is why
I would have won yesterday, man. 335.
Listen, you got to call on the right day. That's the key. So
yeah, I know, man. You guys were talking about it, and you're like, it was $3.35 in 1982, but I was making $1 an hour when I was working on the dairy farm.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
a rich man,
or
Bill.
2 cents a bale, right? 2 cents a bale. Bring him in. All right, stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. We will give you 72 Tavern and Grill at the Odd, the Adirondack Bank Center, a $25 gift card. Great food over there. Also, Mark, we'll give you a table for 4 if you'd like at Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend. I'll let you work that out with Davey, all right?
Oh, yeah, that'll be great.
All right, cool. All right,
I
man.
got this weekend off. I had to work last weekend.
Well, there you go.
Funny guy there.
You are set to party. So stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Bill, and I love your show, and it just gives me a new day every time I listen to you guys.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks,
that means
man.
a lot. We really appreciate it. Davey, take care of this man. He's a good man. Yes.
Just quickly, can I say the Buddy Holly Show is coming to Broadway Utica on Sunday, October 16th, beginning at 4 p.m. Tickets, go to BroadwayUtica.org.
I'm excited to see this show because I don't know a lot about Buddy Holly. But I always, as growing up, my parents loved that type of music.
Stephen Rome says, hey, good morning. I'm doing my part to keep our numbers up. I don't know exactly what that means, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sue in Utica says you're going to need a lot of manure if you want to grow a huge pumpkin. A lot of it.
I would expect that. Or I got to say, I do think Miracle Grow. And is Miracle Grow natural? I don't know. I mean, it's religious-based, right? Pretty sure.
Think it is.
It's religious-based because of the miracle.
And Matt and Clinton says, Manaski, it's the original 6. Toronto, Montreal, Boston, New York, Chicago, and Detroit. So I think I got all the U.S. cities. I forgot about Toronto. I was looking for another U.S. city.
It's funny. These things we should know because when you were told you had to go to the library and pick out a book,
yeah,
you always found the paper book, and it was a paperback, and it was always about something, history of football, history of
something,
hockey or whatever. But I couldn't quite remember what they were.
Toronto, Montreal, Boston, New York, Chicago, Detroit. I don't know. Maybe we'll work that into tomorrow's question.
Okay, there you go. But next hour, another chance at winning Comets tickets, a 4-pack of Comets tickets, and we'll do that next hour. On the line right now is Dr. Kent Hall, who was our man with the plan for all during those COVID times when it's hard to even think about. It seems like so long ago. Shut down, businesses were closed up, nobody was going anywhere. But every morning, Dr. Hall was with us, and he's still around. Doc, good morning. That's never a good thing when somebody says, you're still around? I hear it. I hear it every once in a while. What are you doing now? It's like, I don't know. I'm on the radio every day. Hello?
Yep. What can I tell you?
Good morning, Doc. So I just want where you stand on. So I haven't talked about this at all, but my daughter is overseas. We're going to be. I'm have the opportunity to see her for the first time in a while. We won't see her again until Christmas time. So we're going over to catch COVID overseas and bring some new variants back. So that should be fun. I feel like everybody that traveled abroad this fall or at the end of summer came back with COVID.
Yeah, so I will say that when I have talked to folks who have gotten COVID, it is almost universally related to interacting with people outside of what I call their normal bubble.
Yeah.
So it may be that they traveled overseas, but honestly, it may be that they traveled to a different part of the United States, or it may be that they had some kind of an activity, where they invited people into their home, or they went to a wedding, or whatever. So it's really interacting with other people in a social situation, and we're not wearing the masks the way that we did. We're not doing the social distancing, so we're not as vigilant. And I would offer a suggestion to people, which is that if you're going to be doing something like that, you should really ratchet up your vigilance now. If you're home and you're staying with your inside your normal bubble, then maybe you can let things down a little bit. But if you're going away, then I would strongly suggest that you be wearing masks and or social distancing, et cetera, et cetera.
So in what they're talking about right now in London, England specifically, is that numbers are 43% up for COVID. Now, it does seem up to this point that while some people are still dying, and that does still happen, there are people that still end up in ICU. For the most part, people are just getting ill and their lives are being shut down for a week. And then they're back up and on their way. But now there are a couple of new variants they're talking about. And the term that's being thrown out there, I wanted your take on it, is twindemic.
So the twindemic is COVID, because it hasn't gone away. I will tell you that as of yesterday, the Mohawk Valley Health System had 42 patients in the system that were here with COVID, 3 of them in the ICU, so you can still get sick with this. And the flu, the flu, we are concerned that we're going to have a pretty significant flu season because we haven't had one in the last couple years.
Yeah.
And again, that goes to masking, social distancing, things like that. So, anybody who hasn't gotten their flu vaccine yet, I strongly encourage you to get your flu vaccine. If you haven't been vaccinated against COVID, or if you haven't been boosted, then I strongly suggest that you do that with the bivalent vaccine that is available, that really is made specifically against Omicron. Now, granted, it's against one of the first or second generation Omicron. I think we're on the 4th or 5th generation of Omicron. But you're right, there are variants of Omicron, new variants that are popping up. We don't know a lot about them related to, are they even more infectious? We're not sure. Do they cause even more significant disease? Again, we're not sure, because they're just popping up now, so we haven't had the opportunity to really see that.
Yeah. So there are a couple of these new variants. Isn't that a good thing? Because don't the variants continuously get weaker and weaker as the time goes on?
So in general, yes. In general, as a virus like COVID evolves, it evolves 2 ways. Number one, in a way that is more infectious, because if it's going to take hold and become the predominant, it actually has to have some kind of an advantage over what currently exists. And if it spreads faster, then that's an advantage. The other thing is that they tend to cause less severe disease. And again, it's because if they cause more severe disease, people tend to isolate themselves, and so it has less of an opportunity to spread. So that's in general. That's not 100%, but in general, that is true.
I want to switch gears just a little bit, just throw things. Anybody has any question on the medical side? 7360186. I read the other day that there is a new blood test that can detect, we may be at the early stages, but it's coming, that can detect hundreds of different kinds of cancer. I guess I didn't know there were that many different kinds.
Yeah, we tend to think of cancer as a single disease. The reality is that it's really multiple diseases, and honestly, even in one organ system. So, as an example, the skin. There are multiple different cancers that can be that are called "quote unquote" skin cancer, and so this is really good. New innovation and medical technology which is coming out that is that if it works the way that we want it to. So number one, it needs to detect. Number two, it needs to detect early enough that there can be treatment in a way that we can actually affect cures, remissions and cures.
Yeah.
So that's yet to be seen because again, this is really new. But if it truly does, then this could be a game changer for cancer. That, along with what we've been doing over the last 10 years, give or take, which is the immune therapy, which is really targeting specific cancers in a way that actually stimulates your own immune system to help you, along with the chemotherapy, et cetera, to actually help you fight the cancer off.
Okay. This person did not want to come on the air. Davey, she or he?
It's a he.
Has COVID right now?
Yeah, and they lost their taste and smell, and they wanted to know from Dr. Hall if it comes back.
If it will come back. Well.
So in general, the answer is yes, it does come back. I wish I could give you a specific time frame. For some people, it's a few days. For some people, it's it can be months. Months is probably the outside. I haven't met anybody where it has never come back, although sometimes it comes back in a way that is different than it was before.
Can I let you meet my wife? Still does not have her smell or taste back. And she had COVID in December of the first year. So, however, what's interesting is she's had it 3 times. So I'm wondering if each time the last time she had it, it was around Labor Day when we came back from vacation. So does it reset every time?
That's a good question. I'm not sure that we know the answer to that. I know that I don't know the answer to it, and I haven't read anything where anybody knows where people are kind of getting their taste and smell back, and then they get it again, and then it goes away again. So I can't answer that question. I would say that it certainly could be, although again, because the recent iterations of COVID cause less severe disease. That also includes less severe neurologic disease or manifestations. And so I would guess that it probably does not, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. And we still hear people. It's like, give me a break. It's not killing as many people. It doesn't kill people. You're going to be fine. But first of all, it does, and the percentages are very low. But this doesn't seem to be going away. That's the thing I think that is most annoying. And beyond that, if you do get it, maybe you don't have symptoms. Maybe you have symptoms that you're down and out for 4 or 5 days. But either way, you're down and excluded from society for 5 days, and that is a big interrupter at the very least.
It absolutely is, and I will go back to there are currently 3 people in the Mohawk Valley Health System in the ICU with COVID.
All right.
So it can cause severe disease.
Okay, there we go. And anybody else? We're good on questions? And then finally, monkeypox. I read this morning that they're predicting this is not going to go away, and it's another thing we should be prepared to have around for quite some time to come.
Yeah, we're going on the idea now that we are not going to eradicate it. We need to keep it under control. Thankfully, the incidence and the spread of it is going down, which is very good. And so, but we need to continue to maintain vigilance there. So if you have some kind of a funky rash that you're not sure about, and you are concerned about it, the best thing to do is to see your primary care doctor, have them take a look, and you may end up needing to have those lesions evaluated to see if they are from monkeypox.
And then Jeff has one more.
Well, I just popped up based on this last question that Bill had. So we call it the COVID vaccine, right? I just think when we think of vaccine, or maybe I'm wrong about this, doesn't the vaccine typically eradicate it like we thought we saw with polio and other serious diseases?
Yeah, if everybody takes it.
But well, not necessarily, because people who get the vaccine for COVID, you can still get sick. You could still spread it.
Right.
Same thing. It seems there is a monkeypox vaccine, but if the thinking is now that we won't eradicate it, should we be calling these things something other than a vaccine?
Okay.
So I would say this, Jeff. We have the flu vaccine that we give every year, but we don't eradicate the flu, and some of that is because the flu. There's actually multiple antigenic markers on the flu on the flu virus, and they do tend to change. And so you make a vaccine against one, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will work against the next one. And so some of that relates to COVID as well. Some of it also relates to the fact that some vaccines stimulate your immune system in a way that it maintains the immunity, and others don't. Others stimulate it so that you get an immunity for a period of time, but then it wanes over time. Most of that relates to the type of virus or bacteria that you are making the vaccine against. So in the case of monkeypox, the vaccine is actually very good, but not many people have it. And so, if we wanted to eradicate it, we would actually have to do a very significant push to get a large percentage of the population vaccinated, so that we would get to that herd immunity, and that would and right now, given the low level of transmission and the fact that we don't have a lot of monkeypox disease around, nor do we have a lot of the vaccine, that makes it much more difficult for us to be able to do that. Plus, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how much of an appetite the population has for that kind of a push right now.
Okay, and then quickly, I wonder if COVID could get stronger because it realizes it's already killed the weakest, so now it has to ratchet up. Doesn't work that way, or does it?
It does not work that way.
Okay.
COVID is not an evil scientist that thinks about ways of doing it. It is all about evolving and mutations that make it more transmissible and to a very great extent less severe.
Okay. Doc, as always, we appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Please be safe.
You do the same. Dr. Kent Hall, the Chief Medical Operations Guru at MVHS. And Sarah's Flooring Outlet is the guru when it comes to flooring, period. If it's flooring, it's Sal and Sarah and his family and the people who work over there. If it's flooring, it's in Sarah's Flooring Outlet. The best, biggest stock you're going to find anywhere. And Pergo Extreme, they have that 60-mile radius price guarantee. It's a 60-mile radius where they'll beat anyone's Pergo Extreme price. Largest inventory in Central New York at their all-new Route 49 Plaza. On the line, you can online at their website, you can sign up for a $50 off coupon and take advantage of 6 months interest-free financing right now. If you're looking for flooring for your home or business, nobody any better than in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and you can go online at insarahsflooringoutlet.com.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
They got a scare in Japan. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Sirens went off in 2 regions of that country, warning people of a missile, telling them to evacuate into shelters, and it wasn't a drill. It was a North Korean missile that flew over Japan in a test that actually landed in the Pacific Ocean.
We condemn this launch, and it's a violation of UN Security Council resolutions.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby just told Fox,
"We're going to continue to make sure that we have in place in the Indo-Pacific the kinds of capabilities that we need to defend ourselves and our allies."
And as a show of strength after that latest North Korean launch, American and South Korean fighter jets did military drills firing weapons at targets. Kirby also talked about helping Ukraine take back more territory Russia seized in 4 regions that leader Vladimir Putin now claims are part of Russia, which the U.S. refuses to recognize. More American aid is on the way.
Even in just coming days, you're going to see us continue to provide security assistance to the Ukrainians, the kinds of weapons and capabilities that they have been using to win back their territory in those 4 areas.
It's up to 97 hurricane deaths in Florida, mostly in areas Ian hit first and hardest, like Barrier Island's now cut off. More than 2,000 other people have been rescued.
The National Guard has been in the air, going from island to island, getting people. There is no electricity in this region. There is no running water at this point. Also, Army National Guard has checkpoints all over the region, giving out water and supplies.
Fox Weather's Robert Ray in Fort Myers.
There have been lootings, unfortunately, of these people that are doing terrible things in this region. A situation, unfortunately, natural disasters bring out the best and the worst in people.
Tomorrow, President Biden will go to Florida. Yesterday, he was in Puerto Rico promising more federal help rebuilding after Hurricane Fiona hit a few weeks ago.
And you deserve every bit of help your country can give you.
America's listening to Fox News.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. This is Stephen K. Bennett. I want to remind you that you can still protect your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned money. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 8:03, 44 degrees. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica today for more information. A Madison County high school teen under arrest after allegedly making a threat on a bus. He was arrested for making a threat of mass harm and referred to the Oneida County Juvenile Probation for a future court date. Due to the juvenile's age, no identifying information will be provided. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office was assisted by the Madison County Sheriff's Office and New York State Police in that investigation. Again, police say that threat was not credible. Deputies investigating a missing person case. 87-year-old Donald Majka was last seen by family members on an address in River Road in Rome on Sunday night when a family member visited him. They say he may be en route to an area in Lewis County. He's suspected of driving a tan Lexus SUV. If you have any information, please contact the Oneida County Sheriff's Office or Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. Police still looking into a shooting that took the life of a 25-year-old man. Isaiah Hudson was shot in the head Sunday night and ended up crashing his vehicle into a home. Hudson was rushed to Upstate University Hospital but pronounced dead shortly after arriving. No arrest has yet been made in connection with that case. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says additional funding has been secured that will help thousands of upstate residents stay warm this winter. The New York State Democrat said yesterday $1 billion will go toward the federal Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or HEAP. That will provide people with funds to pay their heating bills. The money's coming from a temporary budget bill that was passed by Congress. Utility companies are projecting a very large spike, possibly up to 70%, in home heating bills in the coming months because of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine as well as supply chain issues caused by the COVID-19 crisis. Well, they have sold millions of albums and have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now the Beach Boys are announcing a trip to Central New York later this year. The 'Tis the Season with the Beach Boys, featuring the Holiday Vibrations Orchestra, is coming to the On Center in December. Tickets will go on sale on Saturday. We'll have all the information at WIBX950.com and on the WIBX app.
The only thing I say about the Beach Boys thing, I mean, this is kind of like watching. What's the In the Mood, the band, the orchestra that Rick Lewis brings in over at Capitol Theater, the Glenn Miller Orchestra, right?
Right,
Davey.
Glenn Miller Orchestra.
Thank you. That's what the Beach Boys have become, right? I mean, everybody's dead. Not everybody's dead though.
They're older.
I know, and Brian Wilson, brilliant. But they're just not. They can't do what they used to do. So now they're all a bunch of young guys in there, like filling in, I think. And in 30 years, I mean, certainly in 10 years, it'll be just like the Glenn Miller Orchestra. They bring everybody in, they play the music of Glenn Miller, and then that's it.
John Stamos
certainly one of the hallmarks of
Stamos is playing on some. I wonder if he'll be in Syracuse. That would be cool. He was playing drums, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we have Christine up on camera right now on our YouTube feed here this morning. Go to youtube.com. It's in full high definition. Brilliance, the brilliance of television. You can see it on your TV, and if you have an iPad, phone, what have you.
Those streaming numbers are going up.
Search for, I'm keeping it right on you, Christine.
No, please don't.
Wave to everybody. It is, just search for Keeler live stream. We're up every morning on YouTube Live, and Christine is there. I'm going to switch off to Manaski, but we're coming back to you, Christine. I'm coming back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Do you want me to give the weather?
Oh, why don't you do that? Yeah.
Okay.
Here's Christine live on camera giving the weather.
I'm going to show clouds. Clouds. Actually, on my blouse this morning is clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you.
I swear to God, we just doubled the number of people.
I'm not kidding. I told you their numbers are going up. I have more messages in this inbox about when are we going to see Christine in HD than I have any other topic, whether it's COVID, comets, you name it.
Well, here she is.
Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Mostly cloudy, the high today near 61 degrees. More clouds tonight with a low around 41. Mostly sunny on Wednesday with a high near 69, and mostly clear Wednesday night with a low around 45. Right now, 44 degrees, WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 8:07. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
And the numbers are going back down again.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, look at them trickle. Just gone. Go. They're gone. Draining. They're just draining from YouTube Live.
Good morning. Last night, the Mets were rained out as they look to regain some ground, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Braves lost to the Nationals. The Braves lost last night to the Marlins.
Yeah.
The Mets will play a doubleheader today, looking to gain some ground. Your first game starter is Carlos Carrasco. He'll be opposed by Corey Abbott. And then the Mets send Taijuan Walker to the hill for the second game tonight of the doubleheader. The Yankees opened their final series of the season with a 3-1 victory over the Rangers in Arlington. They'll play a doubleheader today as well, 2 against the Rangers. Luis Severino last night improved to 7-3. He threw 7 scoreless innings, did not allow a hit. They opted to take him out of the game. Aaron Judge was 1 for 4. He's still stuck on 61. But again, they'll play 2 games today. Some news in the NFL. First, last night's Monday Night Football game saw the 49ers take down the Rams 24-9. Jimmy Garoppolo, 239 yards, a touchdown. And the Niners now 2-2 on the season. The Rams, meanwhile, they dropped to 2-2 as well. The Miami Dolphins officially ruling out Tua Tagovailoa for their game on Sunday. Head coach Mike McDaniel saying the quarterback is officially in concussion protocol, and there is no definite timeline for Tagovailoa's return under center. The Denver Broncos losing their starting running back. Javonte Williams will miss the rest of the season with a knee injury. The Falcons will be without Cordero Patterson for some time. He's on injured reserve, undergoing a knee procedure. And let's see here. One more. Tony La Russa will call it quits. The White Sox manager announcing his retirement in a statement on Monday. La Russa cited health concerns as the primary reason for stepping away. The Hall of Fame skipper hasn't managed a game since October 30th. because of a problem with his pacemaker. La Russa took over the White Sox in 2021 after being out of the league since 2011.
Okay, so we have a lot to get to here this hour, and 1 hour to do it. Greg Lubau is a criminal defense attorney who says all this talk about the issues of bail reform and the crime going up and the numbers being bad, it's not really as bad when you look at the numbers. So we're really not that bad off with bail reform. Boy, I got to tell you, you talk to the DA's office, the sheriff, Sheriff Mashel, Joe Griffo, you talk to all these people, and they'll tell you that is not true. So Lubau is coming on in a few minutes. We'll get his take based on the numbers. And also, we might be able to bring in Sheriff Mashel into the mix as well. It's 8:11. We'll come right back with it. This hour also, before we leave at 9 o'clock, a 4-pack of Comets tickets to give away. And who knows, maybe we'll see a little more. Oh, she's blurred her camera, folks. She has blurred.
Camera shy.
She has blurred the camera. Is that what we call a soft focus? I think it is.
I think it's called out of focus.
It is out of focus.
Is it really blurred?
It is, yeah. I don't think we did it. I think you did it. I don't know.
I tried to put a thing up there. Maybe I messed it up. But
I think you did. Yeah, nice. Okay. We'll come back, and you can check it out on YouTube Live as well, or download our app. It is free and easy to download. It's 8:11 at WIBX.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees, but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started. Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
$1 saved with AmeriQ. Open a new 12-month share certificate at 2.53 APY. Save more with your credit union. Get started at ameriq.org/save today. APYs are current as of June 21st and are subject to change without notice. Minimum balance to open is $1,000. Fees may reduce earnings. Withdrawals of principal are subject to early penalties. Insured by NCUA. AmeriQ. For every day. For everything.
Let's face it. Credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Hey, New York Sash is kicking off their bathroom makeover sale, and you could be a part of all of it. You know that a bathroom is redone completely redone in under 2 days. That's incredible. And right now you can get 20% off your dream bathroom modeling project at New York Sash. Installers Give your bathroom an entire new look. No mess, no maintenance, no worries. And it comes with a New York Sash warranty. 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. New York Sash tub and shower products never mold or mildew, making it easy to clean and maintain. Won't chip, scratch, or peel. New York Sash also has a complete line of colors, patterns, and accessibility products that can be customized to any bathroom or any budget. The New York Sash bath remodeling solution is affordable, and right now, you can get it for 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. Don't spend another day in that outdated, stained, cracked tub. Call or go online. You can visit them online at NewYorkSash.com, or you can go to their Idea and Design Center at New York Sash on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
It's 8:16, and good morning. Probably another decent day on the way. We don't have any rain in the forecast until Friday, and some warmer temperatures coming. Today will be a little bit warmer than yesterday. Yesterday was kind of chilly.
Yeah, it was a little bit chilly, and it's funny. It's all about perspective. Is that the word I want to use?
Yeah.
Because I expected to be freezing when I walked out of the house today, and I was, it's kind of mild. It's nice, warm. Yeah. It was, 43?
Yet I've had since we took the turn, which was really the first day of fall where temperatures dropped. It was just like Mother Nature looked at the calendar. Oh, the fall begins officially. Let's lower the temperatures, and that's exactly what happened. Greg Lubau is a criminal defense attorney who has read through the data that's come from New York State. And maybe a lot of this could be a lot like Shark Week. You get some shark attacks, and all of a sudden everybody says there's a huge increase in shark attacks. He says that might be somewhat equivalent, I don't want to put words in his mouth, to bail reform here. A lot of people disagree with that. Greg Lubau, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Morning, Bill. How you doing?
Good. So I make a comparison to Shark Week. What do you think?
I like it. I like it. Here's the reality in bail reform. There are some buzzwords out there. You say bail reform, and since it was discussed, even in 2019, since it was being enacted and debated, all we heard about was it's bad, and it's going to cause more crime. The reality is it hasn't caused more crime, not here in New York. It hasn't caused more crime across the United States. And unfortunately, as we've seen, there's been an uptick in criminal activity across the United States. So you can't blame New York State's bail reform for all of that. There are some other buzzwords that you'll hear. Judicial discretion. We need to have judges return it to the time when a town judge or a city court judge has discretion about setting bail. The reality is that in 2019, before bail reform came into effect, judges were making decisions, releasing people on bail or on their own recognizance, and a number of those people were going out and committing more crimes when they were released, before their first crime was being adjudicated. That's not a surprise to anybody in the business. Some of our clients do, in fact, go out and get arrested for allegedly committing another crime while they're out on bail or on their own recognizance. That happened in 2019. It also happened in 2021 and 2020, but you can't blame bail reform for that. The difference that's happened is that the media and a lot of law enforcement are highlighting every time a person who's been released in their own recognizance, released on conditions, released on bail, anytime somebody gets rearrested for a terrible crime, and no one wants terrible crimes, but anytime that gets rearrested, the headline becomes, they should have been in jail.
Right.
And
what you're saying is
we didn't hear that in 2019.
Right. What you're saying is
2019, no one was talking about that.
Before bail reform, they wouldn't have been in jail either, is what you're saying.
That's correct.
Well,
that's correct.
Is what you're saying?
If I can, let me just explain. Greg is a criminal defense attorney. There are statistics that have come out from New York State. However, we have heard a lot about bail reform being a big problem. Hearing from the district attorney's office, Senator Joe Griffo has talked to Marianne Buttonshaw, Brian Miller, also Sheriff Rob Mashel, all saying that this has become a problem, and it's further than it goes beyond the statistics. Sheriff Mashel is on the phone. I want to bring him into the conversation a little bit coming up in a second. But, Jeff, this has been one story you followed pretty closely.
Well, yeah, I've got a couple of them here. I just want to be clear about what you're saying, the point that you just made. I understand, and personally, I kind of agree with part of what you're saying. But what you're saying is if the person had been let out, had bail set, and someone came and posted bail for them, if they had gotten out, they could have been committing crimes again. But if they were still being held in jail, they obviously wouldn't be out committing crimes. You acknowledge that, right?
That's rather circular reasoning, but yeah, if someone's in jail, they generally don't go out and commit new crimes.
But
that's not the purpose of bail. The purpose of bail is to make sure people come back to court.
Yes.
So here's an interesting. The purpose of the bail reform was to take people who could not post nominal bail, and otherwise they would sit in jail. So between 2019, here's some of the numbers from DCGS, the Division of Criminal Justice Services, that they've compiled. In 2019, 58% of people who were arraigned and went in front of a judge, so a judge had exercised their judicial discretion, went in front of a judge, and bail was set. 58% of those people had bail set at less than $2,500. After bail reform, people went in front of a judge, were arraigned, a judge exercised his or her judicial discretion, and 31% of people had bail set at $2,500 or less. So let me ask you this. How quickly could you raise $2,500 to get a friend out of jail? The reality is that we were putting people in jail on nominal bail, $500, $1,000, up to $2,500 on misdemeanor charges, nonviolent felonies, and as a result, they weren't in jail, and most of those people did not go out and commit another crime. Most of those people returned to court, when necessary. So the reality is that they went back to work, they went back to taking care of their kids, they went back to education, to school. They were part of their community. Their families did not lose their homes, did not lose their apartments, did not lose whatever else you could lose when you're sitting in jail before you're even convicted.
Right.
And when you take a look at the conviction numbers, you should look at the numbers. The reality here is that people charged with nonviolent felonies or misdemeanors, lesser crimes, those numbers in Oneida County are rather stark when you look at misdemeanors. I haven't looked at the numbers carefully enough, but it looks like about 8% or 9% eventually go to jail. Of all of those arrested, in what year was it? I'm trying to see here.
Oh, this is
2021.
Okay.
Only 8% go to jail.
All right.
So why do they have to sit in jail in advance of the disposition of their case? And it disproportionately hits poor people and, in many instances, people of color.
Do you have something? Because I want to bring in Sheriff Mashel.
Just a couple of things here. I know there was one instance in Utica, and the police did talk about this in releasing the arrest. There was an individual. He was a teenager, I believe, though he was above 18. They had an interaction with him on the Parkway in Utica. He punched the cop twice in the face because I don't know if he didn't like something. He allegedly punched the cop twice in the face. A scuffle ensued. They handcuffed him. They took him downtown. They had to release him because the officer did not suffer a broken bone or was not bleeding. It did not qualify as an assault case. It seems to me, I'm not an expert on this, I want your opinion, if that had happened before 2019, that person would have at least spent the night in jail, right? Some time to cool off? Or do you think I'm wrong on that? It's circular.
No, I don't think you're wrong on that. What bail reform did before bail reform, a judge would make a decision about setting bail, releasing a person in their own recognizance. there was no, other than the fact that they were supposed to consider the person's ability to pay bail and the ability to return to court. Other than that, judges were pretty much on their own. They had wide-ranging discretion. There were no fast rules that they had to apply. And for the most part, their decisions were not reviewable. With what bail reform did was set down some basic standards so that when we have persons charged with misdemeanors, there's a presumption that they should be released, except for the fact that they may have some other aggravating factors in their lives. Other than that, like I said, you take a look at the numbers, how much bail was set, they would set $500 bail. How dangerous could that person be, if you want to talk about dangerousness, which is what you're implying, if bail was set at $500?
Right. And the fact that for some people, $500, you're going to sit in jail because they can't come up with the $500.
Oh, how many people in America don't have $500 in the bank?
Right. I want to bring in Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel, who has been hearing the conversation here. Rob, Sheriff, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. You're on with Greg Lubau. He's a criminal defense attorney who's saying that if you compare the numbers to before bail reform and after, there's really not that much difference. How do you respond to that, Sheriff?
Well, obviously, I disagree. I know DCJS recently put out their full study. I have not had a chance to digest everything, but what I deal with every single day, and is a reality. I mean, when bail reform, when it first rolled out, and obviously we know that none of us are against reform. In this, as you know, bail reform, because I've shared the story before, basically came out of some horrific things that happened to people, specifically one young man in Rikers Island. Mm-hmm. And again, that's a Rikers problem. That's not. I run a medium-sized jail. We have a 632-bed jail in Oneida County. But my point is, every single day, and when bail reform first rolled out, and you come up when the legislators come up with a list of qualifying crimes, and robbery third is one of the ones that bail can't be set on. So again, when an elderly person gets knocked to the ground and their purse is taken, we have to give them an appearance ticket. Just the other day, I mean, we have story after story, individual charged and arraigned 3 times in 36 hours on started out as a domestic, led its way into a violation of an order of protection. Luckily, before the third arrest, when bail was finally put on them, nothing had happened to the victim. Thank God. When the same person gets charged with stealing 27 times in a calendar year and never does a day in jail, there's a problem there. When the recent DWI case, because DWI is an unclassified misdemeanor, again, it falls into that same category. When somebody gets charged, their BAC is a 3.0 one day, and then a short time later, their BAC is a 0.32. I mean, 4 times the legal limit with children in the car, and still we're handing them tickets. I mean, there's a problem here. I live reality. I get phone calls every single day from victims, not every day, every week from victims of crimes. And we could go on and on. We talk about the case in the town of Deerfield, where a knife is held to a victim's throat. They charged with criminal possession of a weapon and a menacing. Both offenses, bail can't be set on them, so they walk away. I mean, there's a problem.
In that case, Sheriff. In that particular case you're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, mm-hmm. was the alleged knife holder then was released, went back to the property, and the cops told the alleged victim in this case, "You should leave because we can't protect you here."
Pretty much, the victim had to go to a safe home because
who lived there?
The fact that the offender went back to the home. And they were allowed to do that.
I want to, Greg. How do you respond to Sheriff Mashel?
Here's this is the problem. The problem is that some of those cases, some cases like that, before bail reform, might have been resulted in the very same result: the person being released or having bail set and bail being posted. Obviously, I'm not familiar with the specific cases that the sheriff is mentioning, but the reality is that that's one. Every system has holes in it. Everything can be improved. But
I guess my response, whenever there's a hole, that hole is a victim, and my job is to protect victims of crimes, and I can't protect them when there's a hole in the system. All they need is one victim to fall through that hole, and we've failed in keeping our people safe.
And nobody wants that to happen.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that to happen. Criminal defense lawyers are not in favor of it's not in favor of crime. The reality, but we're trying to run every system is imperfect, and and that's a hard thing to say.
And even if the case like the domestic with the menacing and the criminal possession of a weapon, even if the judge put a mere $500 on that person, and that person didn't have $500, that few hours that they're held in our custody while they're trying to get bail, that gives the victim time to get their belongings, get to a safe home, get a plan in place. When they're allowed to walk out the door, none of that happens. So and I totally understand. I've been on the job 34 years. An arraignment merely is the beginning process of a case entering into the system. I understand that. Bail is just to guarantee their return to court. I understand that. Bail is not for punishment. No sheriff wants to hold anybody in their jail just because they can't afford bail. That's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is trying to keep the people in my community safe who are victims of crimes. And it's just, I like I said, my job is to keep people safe, and under the current system, I can't do that.
We're hearing right now from Sheriff Rob Mashel. Greg Lubow is a criminal defense attorney, who, by the way, is who you're going to call if a friend, a relative, yourself, you get in trouble. All of a sudden, he becomes a hero. He's my guy. But right now, we're beating the crap out of him. And
now, that's okay.
I do think
punches.
I do think, Greg, though, that and Sheriff, I do feel the one thing that's been lacking is hearing the other side of the story. And I do think it's important to see both sides. I've heard stories, and obviously the sheriff mentioned the incident that happened at Rikers with this kid who ended up dying in prison, and he was there, just got lost in the system. That is a definite problem. The other thing is you get a violent criminal who's wealthy enough to post bail. That person's going to get out if they post the bail. But do you feel, Greg, that the bail concept was being misused? For instance, I've heard stories that in order to prevent someone from hurting themselves, whether it be drug abuse or you can't put them in the hospital setting, so they would put a high bail on this person so they'd be put into the system, which really wasn't the purpose of bail in the first place. Do you feel bail was being misused in New York?
Absolutely. Look, I've been on the job. The sheriff's been on the job 35 years. I've been on my job 45 years. In bail, in the old days, whether they were the good old days or the bad old days, depends on your perspective. But in the old days, a person would be arrested for a misdemeanor or a felony, and they'd be brought in front of a judge at whatever time of day or night, and the judge and present would be the judge, the cop, and the defendant. If it was a felony, the prosecutor had to be called to give a recommendation, but there used to be a time when no defense lawyer was there at that initial arraignment, and what used to happen was the police officer might come in and say, "Judge, this person gave me a hard time," and the judge would say, "Okay, Mr. Local Police Officer, I'm going to put this person in jail until the next time we have court." And many times, in many of these courts, especially town and village courts, they only sit once a week, and they only sit once a month where a district attorney is present. So that person might be sitting in jail on a bail for days, weeks, months at a time. And I'm not comparing what happens upstate to what happens on Rikers Island. The numbers I'm just talking about upstate.
Yep.
The reality was that that system stuffed the jail with a lot of people charged with misdemeanors. The reality here is that the number of people charged with misdemeanors who now have bail set has dropped dramatically. I assume the sheriff has seen a decrease in the number of people with minor crimes sitting in his jail. Preventative incarceration has never been and never should be used. But when someone poses, and the law provides for when someone poses an immediate threat to themselves or to others in terms of mental health and other things, the law provides for judges to make those decisions now.
Sheriff?
Sure. No, I don't disagree with that. I mean, again, one of the issues we dealt with, and this when you mentioned just a moment ago, it brought to mind another story. When bail reform was signed into law by the former governor, it was a Friday afternoon. I remember clearly. We had several people we were holding on misdemeanor drug charges, and they had to be released. There was one particular family who called and begged us not to release their son because they hadn't had treatment programs set up yet. And again, I understand this is not the purpose of bail. I wholeheartedly agree. But in this case, they needed time to get their program set up. And this was a Friday afternoon, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. And it was about 12 or 14 hours later that the individual overdosed and is no longer with us, because as soon as they got out, they went right back to the street. And I understand that's not what bail is set for, but in that particular case, that family did not want to bail them out until they got their program set up. Because, I mean, we do have programs in our facility, but we have a transient population in a county jail. We can't get someone grounded into a program that can be successful because they're not with us for enough of the length of time.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating because we lost a life over that.
Okay, Greg.
Obviously, that's a terrible situation, but the reality is that bail reform was passed in the middle of the year. Everybody knew this was coming come December 31st, January 1st, 2020, this person would be out. Whether or not that, terrible. It's a terrible thing to be addicted to drugs, and it's a terrible, this opioid crisis.
It's horrible.
It's still with us, hasn't abated that much. It's a terrible thing. The answer is not to have treatment programs, not to lock people up, number one, not to have treatment programs only in jails, and some jails have them and some jails don't. We need a comprehensive, statewide, county by county, drug treatment program. And the sad reality is that many counties just don't have those facilities, whether intentionally or unintentionally. But the reality is they don't have those facilities.
Yeah.
Had they had those facilities, perhaps this young man's life could have been turned around. But you can't. But you see, that's the problem. The problem is you take a single case and blame everything on bail reform. The reality is that how many thousands of people have been released without committing new crimes, going back to their families, going back to work, going back to school, taking care of their kids, putting food on the table. And those nice cases, those good cases, are rarely, if ever, seen.
Right. You're saying we're not seeing those. We're only seeing the bad stuff.
News media doesn't get right. Those aren't sexy for news media.
Well, that's not a great story. That's not a great story. Guy beats up. Guy robs a convenience store, but he did the right thing. He went home and showed up at work the next day.
Well,
that's not a great story.
We understand the logic of the whole thing. I mean, it's just that you can't. That's just not a story. And unless you're doing a story about how the number of people are avoiding jail time and going home and doing the right thing, that probably in itself would be a good story. Sheriff, one final word from you. Anything you want to add before we let you go?
Sure. And just real quick, I mean, we were one of the first counties in the state, not mandated by, because there was a court case which mandated some counties had to have attorneys at every arraignment. We jumped on board early. Our centralized arraignment started. Like I said, we were one of the first non-mandated counties in the state to begin a centralized arraignment. It's right at our facility. We have a public entrance in there. So it's It's important for me. I want to ensure that every person that's arraigned in front of a judge has an attorney there. We have public defender that's there every single day if they don't have their own attorney. So, yes, that's important to me too, clearly. But at the same time, there are people who, and I know I'm not an attorney. I don't pretend to be. But I also think we need to give our judges, and again, they need to have some discretion, because there are some people charged with felonies that, they should be returned immediately to the community so that they can keep working and keep feeding their family and whatnot. And then on the flip side, there's people charged with minor offenses who are dangerous at the moment. You see that progression. The judge should have the ability to put bail on them. So again, so we can buy some time to get help for the victim. So I think we need to give judges the ability to do that. And if they mess up, then hold the judges accountable. That's
right.
Sheriff,
we appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sheriff Rob Mashel. Do you want to respond to that, Greg? And then I have one other caller who wanted to pipe in, if you're okay with that.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry the sheriff got off. Oneida County was one of the first counties that had what we call CAFA, Counsel at First Appearance, and they had for decades. He just recently retired. You had Frank Niebusch, who was the longtime public defender in Oneida County, and Frank was very forward thinking in how things were done. The reality is that counsel at first appearance became very costly because of you have 43 town and village courts, 3 city courts in Oneida County, and covering those with, I think the staff is about 14 or 15 public defenders. Covering those courts, it's a big county, 43 miles between courts, I think.
Right.
So that's one reality, and now you have centralized arraignment at the jail, which also facilitates the judicial process. So we like when defense lawyers started showing up at arraignments anecdotally, and I hear this from my colleagues, fewer people went to jail at arraignment. All of a sudden, you had an advocate there.
I have Wayne, and then we'll wrap this up. Greg, we appreciate your time here. Wayne, you're on with Greg Lubell.
Okay, 2 questions. What's the percentage of people that show up to for their appearance when they get an appearance ticket, and what's the penalty when they don't show up? That's all.
All right, I'm going to hang up and let Greg take that one. What do you think, Greg?
Unfortunately, the DCJS numbers did not address at this point. They're putting up new numbers. They're working on new numbers. These numbers are only about people who showed up for arraignment. They don't have the numbers for people who were issued an appearance ticket and failed to appear. But the reality is that the people that did appear in 2019, you had a failure to appear. The numbers between failure to appear in 2019 and the numbers in failure to appear in 2020 after arraignment are pretty much the same. There was no change in those numbers. Right. So judges, when you get to an arraignment, you always have a judge exercising their discretion. The problem was that too many judges were putting too many minor offenders into jail without taking into account their ability to pay even a nominal bail.
Okay.
And that's what bail reform was intended to do.
Well, I will say that crime does seem to be up, and you're right. The cases where someone is repetitive and they shoplift or do whatever they do, which seems minor, but they do it over and over and over again at the same store, is becoming quite the problem that municipalities around the state are dealing with, especially upstate. And I don't know the answer.
I live upstate, so I do understand that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, last year's amendments to the Bail Reform Act addressed the shoplifting issues, for instance.
Okay.
And repeat offenders. So the legislature is looking at the reality of bail, is looking at what bail reform was intended to do, and it sees that it did what it was intended to do, and if there are other consequences that need to be tweaked, they've been willing to do that, but they're not willing to throw the whole thing out.
Right. Greg Lubell, criminal defense attorney, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Bill Keeler, thank you for the opportunity.
Good. I'm a firm believer that 2 people on 2 different sides of an issue actually speaking is becoming a rarity in this country, and it's extremely healthy.
Well, thanks. I enjoyed the conversation with the sheriff. I think I'll give him a call and thank him for it.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
That was a really good segment because it's really great to hear both sides.
It is, and it's a side we kind of haven't heard. You want to pipe in on any of this? Listen, we do feel a little less safe up here right now, and it is an issue, and it is worth addressing and talking about. We'll come back, wrap it up here, 8:44. I have Comets tickets to give away before we leave. Manaski is livid over this conversation. He'll vent. Coming up next on WIBX.
Sometimes my inner me wishes it could have a do-over. I mean, I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I'd never cut my bangs. I even wish I hadn't chosen the bank I did.
While some do-overs are easier than others, you should make the switch to Adirondack Bank. They're a local bank with friendly people and competitive products. I just opened a hometown checking account. There's no fees or minimum balances, and I even get online banking and mobile banking.
Well, switching to Adirondack Bank really does sound like the do-over I need. Oh, but I still wish I'd never gotten that spring break tattoo.
That one is harder to fix.
Make the switch and open your hometown checking account today. There's a minimum deposit of $25 to open the account. Visit your local branch or online at adkbank.com for more information. Member FDIC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Gum Out Fuel Injector Cleaner can clean your entire system and help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, you can get 2 bottles for only $7. A great deal to help you go a good deal farther. Find Gum Out Fuel Injector Cleaner and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
Everyone, meet our newest employee, Susan. She has an idea that is going to revolutionize our food ordering.
Hi, Susan.
So nice to meet you.
Unfortunately, she just gave her notice, and today is her last day.
I'm gonna miss her.
Why don't all companies order through EasyCater? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. It's our thing.
Hey, I want to tell you, Steve Pani Mazda, Ricky Z, and everybody over there are ready for some employment opportunities. They are growing at an incredible pace and are proud to offer more career opportunities for those who help sell cars, put people into those salespeople, and the people who keep those cars on the road, service technicians. If you're a talented salesperson or a talented service technician, look for a career in an atmosphere that is enjoyable in a brand new building with a dealership that represents the award-winning Mazda lineup of vehicles. Achieving first place nationally in customer satisfaction, you can apply by calling the family-owned and operated Steve Pani Mazda today. If you're looking for new employment in a great atmosphere with benefits, it's always easy to do business at Steve Pani Mazda on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. On Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And you know the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts. Daylight Donuts. Check out their lattes. They have the pumpkin spice latte, and it's that season right now. Here we are, cool and crisp out there. Let's start the morning. Coffee, espresso, lattes, iced coffee, breakfast sandwiches, fresh bagels every day, and fresh donuts every day. Chuck Cidello holds court over there. That's where all the big issues are talked about. If there's anything that's about anything that's important, it's happening at Daylight Donuts. A lot of people conversing and solving the problems of the world at Daylight Donuts. Christine Bellino is on camera. Hello, Christine.
Hello.
It's YouTube Live, which is YouTube. I call it live. Should I? Is it YouTube Live? Is that what it's called?
We are live.
YouTube is live. So just search Keeler live stream, and it's right there.
We have gotten a lot of messages from people saying, I can't watch the show because I can't afford it. So please know this is free, 100% free on YouTube. We're free on the radio. Our app is free, but YouTube is free. This is not.
Yeah, I mean, if you have internet, which most everybody does, it's free.
Right.
You do not. It's not YouTube TV. It's YouTube Live. Go to YouTube, and we're up there. Manaski, you seem completely bothered by all of this.
Well, the fact that people are saying they can't watch the show because there's a cost associated. I feel like
Who was the SNL character that was on the airplane? They were going off for the. They were going off and doing the bridesmaids. Oh, it's bridesmaids, remember? And she's on. Oh, I'm poor. I can't do it. Remember, she was from SNL.
Are you talking about Tina Fey?
No, it was the other one. I'm poor. She saw the pilgrim lady out on the wing or something. She got all bombed because she took a pill on the plane. That's a funny movie.
Yeah, it was Tina Fey who played the character.
No, it wasn't. It was not her. It was.
Oh, you're right. It
the
was
other one.
Kristen.
Kristen Wiig.
Wiig. Yeah.
Wiig. Anyway, I'm poor.
Love her.
I can't do it like she did it, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you see a lot of people do this where they'll say, "Listen, if you lunch is $10, but if you don't have any money, you don't have to give us $10."
Right.
And
we're not
all of a
charging
sudden,
for this.
80% of the people go, "Well, I don't have any money."
Let me just tell you, it's far less than the cable TV you were using to watch us before.
Yes,
that
correct.
is for darn sure.
Yes. So whether you have money or you don't, it's still all the same cost, $0.
And there's Manaski. I think I've got him on. No, I don't. Oh, I can't get Christine off. I'm trying.
Please.
Oh, there it is. I don't know. It wasn't working.
I'm sending you the Kristen Wiig clip.
If you can find that, that's a funny little clip. Maria Salamida, is with St. Joseph's. And I just want to let them plug their basket raffle that they're doing because it's for a good cause. And then I'm going to give away some tickets. Hello, Maria. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm very poor. I work in radio. I'm poor.
So are we.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. It's terrible, right? I mean,
terrible.
$9 for a gallon of gas, $3 for a loaf of bread. We're just getting screwed here terribly.
I know. Well, you can come to our basket raffle. That's not too expensive.
I'm going to need it. Okay, talk about this and how people can help you guys raise some money.
Okay, well, it's Sunday. It's called the Basket Raffle Extravaganza, and it'll be on Sunday, October 9th, so this coming Sunday. We open the doors at 11:30. At 2 o'clock, we start drawing the winners for the baskets, and it's usually over around 3:30, and it'll be in the Irish Cultural Center, so beautiful venue, and the donation to get in is $6, and we will have, this year we're going to have some exciting new changes. We have our baskets start at $50, and they'll be $50, $75, and $100, and because we got rid of our $25 baskets, a wonderful thing happened. We have now mini grand prizes like $500 in cash and a small Weber grill. But anyway, we also have a Sony TV, a 55-inch Sony TV that was purchased at Big Apple Music. And it'll be a fun-filled event. We have some finger foods that you can get, some drink, soft drink. And as always, you can go over to the Irish Cultural Center and get lunch while you're waiting for your basket to be drawn, or a drink or whatever.
Right.
And all the proceeds are going to benefit the repairs and maintenance of St. Joseph St. Patrick's Church, which is the home parish of St. Mary Ann Cope, as you know.
Yes, very nice.
We haven't been able to be in our church because of our roof situation, so hopefully we'll have a great attendance, and our fundraising is going along, and maybe by Thanksgiving we can get back into our beautiful church. So that's it. That's all I can say.
And if I'm not mistaken, Maria, right outside of the church, it was just recently unveiled in the last month, there were 2 new large displays.
Yeah, you can see them right from the arterial.
Right. The picture of Mother Mary Ann, or St. Mary Ann, excuse me.
Yeah.
And the other one says, Utica has a saint, or did you know Utica has a saint?
No, it says Utica has a saint, and she belongs to all of us, not just St. Joseph. We're her home parish, but she is for the whole entire city and the state. There's only 11 saints in all of the northern hemisphere here, and to think that we have 2 in New York State is amazing.
I can't name them all. I can name one. My wife. She's.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
St. Allison.
You're on fire today, dude. Oh, man.
Sorry about that, Maria. But, I got to call like I see it, All right. Well, listen, you have a wonderful day, Maria. And
thank you.
Come out to this basket raffle. It's for a great cause.
Yes. Thank you so much for helping us. We appreciate it.
All right. Good luck out there.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're like the burning bush.
I'm drunk, okay? I didn't want to tell you guys, but cocktailing all morning here. All right, Davey.
That wasn't really a Pepsi.
Davey, so I'll take these calls. We're going to give away a four-pack of tickets for our Utica Comets. 2 weeks from last night, they open up. 315-736-0186. Call in. I'm going to throw a question at you. If you get the question right, you win the tickets. It's as easy as that. Let me start right now. Good morning. Who is this and where are you calling from?
It's your pal Wayne again.
Hello, Wayne. You're taking another shot. All right. Here we go with your question. You're going to love this question. Are you ready?
Yes.
I said, are you ready?
Here is your question. Zimbabwe. Sorry, Wayne. This really was my first question. Zimbabwe, I got to think about this. Think about this. You have to be specific. Zimbabwe won their first ever Olympic gold in 1980. In what specific event?
The luge.
Remember, this is a hockey contest, okay?
Oh.
Zimbabwe, but you have to be specific. We're going to run the timer here.
And think it's Zimbabwe, so it's not necessarily cold.
Well, no, don't throw them off because we are. You'll see. All right, Zimbabwe won their first ever Olympic gold in 1980 in what event? Ready, go.
Hockey.
You got to be specific though.
Real hockey? Ice hockey?
Go ahead, Davey. Tell him the answer.
It's ice hockey.
No, but it's women's hockey. The men won. The U.S. men won in 1980. Remember?
That's right.
You got to believe. And then, do you believe in miracles? Sorry, I got my phrases mixed up. The women's Zimbabwe ice hockey team won the gold. I never knew that. I didn't even know there was a women's team back then. So
I never knew they played hockey there.
All right, Wayne. Try again,
Later,
man.
guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Hi, who's this? Good morning.
Can
Hello.
I plug it in?
Yeah, you can play. What's your name?
Bill.
This is Bill?
Phil.
Joe. Phil.
Phil.
Phil. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go.
He has to be more excited, though.
That's all right.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Okay,
I didn't
good.
know I was on.
You're on. Here we are. Here's your question.
Thank you.
And I'm going in order here.
Yes, sir.
What hockey position player is most likely to wear a throat guard? Ready, go.
Goalie.
You're going to go with goalie. My God, he's right. Wayne, I'm so sorry you didn't get that question.
Do you have a problem with Wayne? You don't like the way he calls in,
Wayne,
or what?
Wayne, I'm sorry, but Phil is the winner. He's won a 4-pack of tickets to see the Utica Comets 2 weeks from last night. Stand by, Phil. Davey's going to show us how excited you are, Phil.
Thank you very much. I love you guys.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
nice.
you.
He did well. By the way,
Davey's
Wayne,
gonna
you have a
hook you up.
chance at a 4-pack. All you have to do is spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I'm so sorry, Wayne.
The tickets are waiting on you, Wayne.
All right, one more shot of Christine. There she is. Wave goodbye, Christine. We're saying so long. So long for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. It is 8:59. News next, straight ahead on WIBX.
I'm Marimus Magic Oren, candidate for Oneida County Clerk. I'm running for 2 reasons. The first, background. I'm an independent businesswoman, a real estate broker. But most important, I'm a lawyer. The same lawyer who took the greedy absentee owners of the Obelson Apartments to court and won. The second reason, backbone. I'm the only candidate willing to confront Tony Picenti and the county legislature. I'm the only candidate willing to fight for a full-time, fully staffed Rome DMV. And I'm the only candidate willing to fight for a faster, more customer-friendly Utica DMV. The John E. Creedon Police Benevolent Association, Utica's Men and Women in Blue, back me because I'm experienced. The Nonpartisan Reform Party endorsed me because I'm independent. And the state's largest healthcare workers union gave me their support because I'm qualified. The Friends of Marima's Magic Orange paid for this message because they know I believe in people, not politicians. Please remember, Marima, background and backbone. Thank you.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WYBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
Hello, I'm